ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents the youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America. SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Debenham. Welcome to Scholastic Sports America. And, you know, even though it's the fall, we're talking basketball this week on SSA. The game has been around for a long time, and it might be the hottest right here in the Hoosier State, Indiana. Maybe that's why year after year, each and every summer, they have the top amateur basketball camps here in Indianapolis. But you have never seen a camp like this one.
It was like watching paint crack. There'd be turnovers at half court, and the ball never got down to the basket. That's the way it started out.
The American women winning the gold medal in basketball.
The NBA's Board of Governors said today they will back a women's pro league. It will be called the Women's NBA, and it will begin play as a summer league in 1997.
We have to prove that, you know, guys say, oh, this is a man's game. And I think we have some young ladies that came out here and proved that women can play this game.
A lot of people are starting to, open up and say, girls can do the same thing I can do.
Indianapolis, what has been an annual pilgrimage for the best basketball players in the land, added a second week this summer. The shoes, a little smaller. But hey, what do you expect at the first ever girls Nike basketball camp?
Well, it's long overdue, but I think what you have to do is focus on it's happening. It's now.
Pat Summit is the preeminent name in this game, but only one in a list of over 300 coaches who flew to the camp like hawks, checking out 80 of the best players in the country, many of which had never had a stage like this.
You see the opportunity to show yourself in front of coaches all over the country, and where I might not have got that exposure out in Claflin, Kansas.
I'm not a power for the women type, but it's equal. We're equal now. We're with the guys. You can say, yeah, I was at the Nike All-American camp. Wait, were you?
So should there be a basketball camp for girls? Well, ask any of these 80 talented young stars, and they'll tell you, yes, the level here is extremely good. But this is more than just a basketball camp. It's a week-long experience. Just ask Nikki Weddle.
Hear about that. I don't like it. We're gonna act like the camera's not even here. We're just gonna chill out, you know what I'm saying?
When did you realize it was more than just basketball?
As soon as they said, oh, you got to get up at 7 o'clock and go to class. It's here. Come here.
It's the first game I've ever been to where we had to write a research paper.
Oh, wow, look at that.
That's neat.
Hey.
1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Nice shot, Bree. That's the best thing about this, because you learn more about people. You learn more about the other campers, and they learn more about you.
Kitty, can you have a key?
No, Lindsay does. Over here.
She said you have a key. She put the key in our room.
And what would camp be without a sing-along?
Let's say it for the fella one time. Amen. Say it for the fella now.
They take care of you. They make sure you're doing okay as a person. And it's not necessarily just basketball all the time.
Yeah!
I didn't know much about the other 78 girls. I've heard their names. I've heard how great of players they were. And I really didn't know.
Actually, Nikki, one of the best has your name. Visitors of Frederick, Maryland have been repeating the name Nikki Peasley since she was 13. And that recent Olympic gold has teased her.
Women are actually proving themselves and showing that we can play the game of basketball. And personally, that's my goal, to play on that team.
Girls are getting stronger, faster, more aggressive. They just work out more.
and it's because of older players setting examples for us.
Minnesota's Carolyn Moose is the tallest of this first Nike class, 6'6".
Shot clock at 2. Davis! What a shot under pressure.
You get to see them on TV, and it's just, they're my idols, and I really look up to them, and I want to be like them someday.
It's a different world for girls like Jackie Stiles. Claflin, Kansas is home to only 800 residents. Kristen Clement has already committed to Pat Summitt and Tennessee, months before her senior season in Philadelphia even begins. Early commitments in girls hoops? We have come a long way.
The Nike commercial they had when with Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Dawn Staley, when they were going to the playground, I thought that was awesome.
Once upon a time, 3 girls went to Rock Steady for a pickup game.
It was unbelievable.
And this isn't a fairy tale, so they didn't beat every guy, but they beat enough to say, basketball is basketball, athletes are athletes.
When I saw that commercial, it just clicked in my head that, you know, it's finally here and women are going to be getting a lot of TV and we are getting better and it's just going to keep on progressing.
But to the point where women challenge the men? Well, doubtful. But hey, Tamika Catchings is from Texas, so she's thinking big.
You see the USA Olympic team on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. Look what that got. You know, a lot of people are starting to, you know, open up and say, you know, girls can do the same thing I can do. And I want to try and see if I can make the NBA, but, you know, I want to play in the WNBA one day just so I can have, you know, little girls looking up to me and saying, you know, I want to be like Tamika and everything, because I look up to Lisa Leslie. That's my idol.
So just think of it. The future featuring these top stars, maybe the Olympics, maybe that professional women's basketball league that they're all talking about. I can picture them there someday. I know that that's what they're dreaming of. We'll take a break, be back with more of SSA right after this. Stay with us. If you have a story idea for us here at Scholastic Sports America, drop us a line at SSA Story Ideas, 1435 North Meridian Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46202. Welcome back to the show, everybody, and now it's time for a great story for you football fans, especially if you live in the state of Indiana. Melissa Stark tells us about a high school football team, Penn High School, that hasn't lost a regular season football game since 1985. That's 84 regular season games that they have won in a row. That's pretty impressive. Here's Melissa Stark.
1985. Ronald Reagan was president. Bruce Springsteen topped the charts with Born in the USA. Back to the Future was a hit at the box office. And looking back, it was also the last time Penn High School lost a regular season game. Ever since a 2014 defeat versus South Bend Adams, the Penn Kingsmen from Mishawaka, Indiana, have won an incredible 84 straight games. Not to mention the Indiana State Championship in Class 5A just last year. The king of the Kingsmen is Coach Chris Giesman. Gies has never had a losing season and has compiled a lifetime record at Penn of 221 wins and 39 losses. He's been at the helm throughout the entire streak, which has included coaching his 2 sons, Tim and Matt. Although the streak is awesome in its magnitude, Giesman's approach has been simple.
It's mind-boggling. We sincerely play one at a time, and it's hard to even think of 84 in a row. The only thing that's mind-boggling, if we should happen to lose and try to start that over, it'd be the year 2006 before we'd be in this situation again.
Most of the players say that winning isn't really a concern, but they will also be the first to admit that they would never want to be on the team that ends the streak.
it just wouldn't be good. I would not like to be on that team, no, not at all.
I don't think we think about it a lot. I think Coach Giesman's helped that out a lot by not letting us think about it. We realize that if we play like Penn should, that the winning will take care of itself.
Go!
We don't really have a doubt in our mind that we're going to win the game. The coaches may, but we're pretty confident.
The Kingsmen have had several scares in the 11 seasons since the streak began, but none quite as big as the game back in 1990 with the streak at 60 games. It's known as the game when the lights went out.
1990, we were behind 13-7 with under a minute to go. And we had to drive 80 yards, and we did it, and we scored with like 8 seconds to go and kicked the extra point, won the game 14-13. And around here, that's known as the night the lights went out. Right when our clock hit 0.0, all the lights blew, a transformer blew, and people think we did that on purpose, but we didn't. It just actually happened that way.
So how does a team win 84 straight games? Perhaps the key is their theme 11 as one, meaning 11 guys working as one. There are no superstars or glory hunters here, just hardworking kids with a long tradition of success.
There's a lot of tradition and a lot of pride. You think about all the players that played here in the past, and you're playing for them as well as for yourselves, and playing for a big community. When you win a lot of football games, you get a lot of backing, and it's real exciting to play around here with the crowd and the coaches, and it's just real fun.
Most teams believe in the importance of unity on the field, but these guys take it a step further. It's a tradition for seniors and other starters to have dinner together every Thursday night, followed by a film session to get a late scouting report on the upcoming opponent.
What do you guys get out of watching game footage?
Well, we watched the opposing team's previous game the night before we play them, so it kind of helps us with what kind of formation changes they're going to be making, and we can pick up on like little things that the defensive guys are going to do. Like if they have like their left hand up, that means they're going to be stunting right, or if the linebacker's cheating up, you can tell which way they're going to be stunting and which way they're going to be going. Just things that help you out Friday night when you're going up against that actual person.
Penn High School in rural northern Indiana, just a stone's throw away from another famous school in South Bend, has an enrollment of over 2,500, making it one of the largest in the state. Although Penn is proud of its success on the gridiron, it's equally as proud of its academic standards. Penn was recognized as a Blue Ribbon School, which is awarded nationally to the top academic high schools in the nation.
The game against South Bend Clay is just about to begin. You know, wins may come easily for this team, but no matter who their opponent, the pressure is always there. Most teams lose a game here or there, but for the Kingsmen, with their legacy of perfection, that luxury does not exist. Losing is just not an option.
The Kingsmen got off to a shaky start when the Clay Colonials blocked Penn's punt on their first possession. Clay's Ricardo Lewis took the ball off the left side, and just like that, Clay was up 7-0. The Kingsmen got it going after quarterback Nick Bayline on the play-action pass found senior wideout Kevin Flanagan deep downfield with a defender all over him. Flanagan came down with the ball on the 14-yard line. Just 2 plays later, a trap to junior fullback Sean McGann put the Kingsmen right back in the contest at 7 apiece.
Let's go, Wild Boys, come on, make something happen.
And make something happen, they did. Penn scored on its next 5 possessions, blowing the game wide open, and eventually went on to win 42-13 to extend the win streak to 85 games.
Never easy around here, I'll tell you.
For SSA, I'm Melissa Stark.
It's up and it's good, as in the story was great. Thanks, Melissa. Just a reminder for those of you keeping tabs on Penn High School, they do play perennial powerhouse Ben Davis High School this coming October 11th. We'll take a break and be back with more of Scholastic Sports America. Welcome back to the show. We had a little dilemma. We were looking for high schoolers after high school, but then we figured, hey, go to any mall and we'd find one. You look like a high school student, are you?
Yep.
You don't mind if I join you, do you?
No.
What are you eating?
Wings Mongolian.
Okay. Hey, what's your name?
Dan.
Is it really? Yeah. My name's Dan. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he doesn't watch the show. Great. Listen, do you play any sports?
Yeah, I do.
Which ones?
Golf and hockey.
And do you have good grades?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Hey, maybe you could be on the SSA Honor Roll then. Let's go ahead and check this week's story out. The SSA Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? What is a girl from the Bronx doing riding a horse? And what do New Yorkers think?
People don't really understand. They're just like, wow, she rides horses, but that's all they really understand. They always ask every weekend, how did I do? Because they were always like, oh, come on, let's go hang out. And I said, I got a horse show. But as soon as I come back, they're like, oh, how'd you do? And I tell them, and they look for me on TV, even though I'm like never really on TV. But they're really supportive about it, and they think it's great that I do that.
Jackie and her favorite horse, Simba, also known as Lion King in competition, have a unique relationship.
We just have this bond, I guess. I love this horse. I love him to death.
Jackie and Lion King specialize in equitation, a competition where both horse and rider are judged on their beauty and finesse.
She's obviously very capable. She's qualified and won major classes all through the country, starting from Palm Beach and right through the indoors. She's obviously very, very talented, and if she elects to continue to do this, I would think would have a very, very nice and illustrious career.
Jackie won the 1995 USET Finals and has qualified for national AHSA Finals for the last 5 years. She is also one of 60 individuals to compete in the ASPCA McClay Finals in early November. With her success as an equestrian also comes her discipline as a student.
I'm very proud that she could manage school and riding and basically taking care of her horse, and she does it basically by herself.
Jackie maintains a 3.5 grade average at the Ursuline School. She plans to attend the University of Miami in the fall of '97. And welcome back to the show, everybody. Time for the SSA Hometown Hero, where we feature some outstanding athlete that's, quite frankly, comes from a pretty good hometown, like maybe John Tyler High School in Tyler, Texas. You guys heard of John Tyler?
No.
No? No? Yeah, well, how about if I tell you this? This athlete happens to be one of the top defensive ends and tight ends in the country.
Oh, yeah, it's David Warren.
Right on cue. We told him to say that. Very good. David Warren is this week's Hometown Hero.
David Warren, do you think you're as good as everybody else does?
Well, I just leave it up to y'all to make that kind of decision.
Well, we say you're pretty good, one of the best in the country, in fact, and we're not alone. Check any recruiting list, David Warren's name is near the top. He is a rare combination of size, 6'4", 225 pounds, speed, 10.6 in the 100, 4.5 in the 40, strength, he power cleans 320 pounds, and modesty.
When someone talk about it, you know, I can't help but to listen, but basically I try to just not think about it and just think of us as a team, as John Tyler.
The thing that I think he likes more than anything else, with all the attention that he's getting this year, he wants his teammates to do well.
His teammates have done very well. The Lions are 34-3 over the last 3 seasons, 27-1 the last 2 with a state title in '94. David has started every one of those games. In fact, he is the only player in John Tyler history to start every varsity game as a freshman.
I felt like if he kept improving, that one day that he could be something special.
It's been 23 years since Earl Campbell wore a John Tyler jersey, worked out on these practice fields, lifted weights in this field house, and walked through these doors on his way to a Heisman Trophy winning career at the University of Texas and a Hall of Fame career in the NFL. Comparisons between Earl Campbell and David Warren, whom his teammates call Earl, are inevitable.
Makes me feel good to know that people comparing me to someone that reached the level he done reached.
Not very many guys in Earl Campbell's class, it's just a short road. But hopefully one day we'll see, David, if he keeps progressing and keep doing the things that we feel like he can do, that one day we can sit down here, we can talk about, hey, yeah, David Warren is just like Earl Campbell.
In Tyler, Texas, for Scholastic Sports America, I'm Brett Dark.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Oh yeah, it's that time of the year. I know what we're doing here. We're trying on football shoes, right?
We are trying on football shoes.
Cool. What position you play?
Halfback.
Halfback? No. Oh, no. I think we're a bit confused. You're talking soccer football. I'm talking gridiron football. Okay, all right. So I'm in the wrong store. Well, maybe I'm in the right store. But now we're talking about our Super 10 football rankings. This is the first SSA rankings of the season. SSA is brought to you by Burger King, where you can always get your burgers worth. Over the past 10 years, SSA has been the first to introduce you to many athletes who have gone on to become superstars in their field, and last year was no exception. Perhaps the biggest surprise during the summer was Kobe Bryant's decision to go pro instead of to college, or was it? When we visited with Kobe at Lower Merion High School last February, he was still debating his future.
One week I said to myself, hey, I would like to go to the NBA. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think I saw Chicago play Orlando or something. I got excited. Then I see North Carolina play Duke. I'm like, man, this college atmosphere is crazy. This is what I want to do. I want to go to college. So I changed my mind like every other week.
Kobe finally settled on entering the NBA draft and was chosen 13th overall by the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets then traded Kobe to the Lakers, and that's where he is now. Dominique Mucianu, Jessica Davis, Krista Williams, and Brooke Bennett all saw their lifelong dreams of competing in the Olympics come true. Dominique was just a freshman at Northland Christian High School in California, but was already on a fast track to Atlanta. She hitched a ride with Bella Caroli, who is the guru of women's gymnastics. It was Bella who gave Dominique the confidence to not only compete, but think about gold.
When I was 10, I came here, or 9.5, 10. I came to train with Bella, and then I started to, maybe I have a chance to do good, go to Olympics or something. And so from then on, just taking it more seriously.
Serious enough to help the U.S. women's gymnastics team capture the gold medal this summer in Atlanta. Of course, Bella was with her every step of the way. Another medalist was Krista Williams. She helped the women's softball team win the gold in that sport's Olympic debut. At 18 years old, Krista was the youngest player on the team. In fact, was the only player still in high school, Dobie High School in Texas, which is known for its blistering summers. And Krista, well, let's say she knows a thing or two about heat. While Krista's game is one of power and speed, Jessica Davis's is one of grace and beauty. Rhythmic gymnastics is about being one with your mind and the music. Jessica, another SSA alum, represented the United States at the Olympics, finishing 30th in the all-around competition. One of America's most decorated Olympic athletes is Janet Evans, an SSA alum as well. Another swimmer, Brooke Bennett, was drawing comparisons to Janet last year when we visited her at her high school in Brandon, Florida. Brooke realized her dream when she won a gold medal this summer in the 800 freestyle in Atlanta. Way to go, Brooke. You know, next week, I got a funny feeling the stands will be full as everybody wants to check out Kenyan Rambo. That's his real name. Great name. And he's got great hands, too. He's one of the top wide receivers in the country. He plays for Cal Poly High School out of Long Beach, California. And his story is next week, Monday, September 30th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on SSA. So make sure and join me then. Melissa Stark will be back as well. So for both of us, we'll see you next time right here on Scholastic Sports America. By the way, check out these mountains. ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents the youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America. SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Devine and welcome to Scholastic Sports America on just a gorgeous day here in Southern California. Long Beach, California. With the Queen Mary as a backdrop, we roll right into our first story. This guy, well, he's got a great name. You're going to love his name, but you're going to really enjoy his game. Great hands, one of the top wide receivers in the country. Well, forget what I want to tell you. Let's listen to Melissa Stark. She has his story.
On the big screen, he became famous to the world as an outlaw on the run. In Long Beach, California, this young man is making the name his own.
Rambo means being strong and being courageous. And I'm standing up for the Rambo name. You know, I'm doing good in my sports and doing good in my schoolwork. My name is Rambo. You won't see me in the movies, but you will see me on the gridiron.
For Kenyan Rambo from Long Beach Poly High, everything starts with his feet, size 10. He runs a 4.5 40-yard dash. Then come his hands, which have caught more balls as a wide receiver than any other jackrabbit in history. But it's the eyes, the vision, that just may make him the best ever at his position in Poly history.
My strength is I can see, I got good vision, I got good feet, good speed. I'm a hurler, I run on a track team.
It's great to have like a really good receiver, number one, in the country and everything, to throw to. It makes my job a lot easier.
The countdown to his future began when he was called up to the varsity as a 15-year-old ninth grader. He was ready then, and now sits on the brink of stardom.
Look out, here goes Rambo. He's got a convoy. Somebody needs to block somebody. Rambo, 20, tripped up momentarily at the 5, touchdown Rambo.
Obviously, he's got some great physical skills. I mean, he's got great feet, great balance. He's got a great pair of hands. He can go up and get balls that most guys can't get.
Kenyan can do whatever he wants to do. He has that talent. He has more talent than I have. His dad was a good athlete also. And Kenyan has the capabilities. I've been here a long time, and I've seen a lot of the great ones in football and other sports. And Kenyan, at this particular time, and I know I'm uncle, I don't think that there's anyone up until now that has the versatility in athletics that I have observed that he has.
Rambo's Uncle John was a bronze medalist in the 1964 Olympic Games as a high jumper. As his legal guardian the past 3 years, he has watched Kenyan's stock take off.
Tennessee, Nebraska, Miami, and Arizona State. Man, I don't know where I'm going, man. I have so many letters, I don't even know where I'm gonna go. Hard choice. My first call came from SC. Coach Sanford, he called me, and he talked to me like, the recruiting started, and I said, yeah, I know.
And what'd he say?
And he said, we're looking forward to you coming. Well, I said, I don't know. I got a lot of spots to choose from. We doing it. What up, man? We saw it. We just didn't.
A college and NFL career seemed to be on the horizon for Kenyan. But just 9 months ago, right here on the corner of Pioneer and Artesian, Cerritos, his future was uncertain after he took a simple trip to a convenience store to buy a bottle of water.
Well, I got shot just going to get some water. I went to drive up into the little town center, and then I parked. And I just had something in my mind to say to look to the left, and I looked to my left. The dude started rushing towards me with his gun and talking to me. And I was like, well, what did I do? I'm just looking at the gun. I'm scared for him to shoot me. So I'm going in reverse, and he's walking towards me, about from here to me to you. And he stops, and I start going back a little bit more. And then he shoots me through the window. I told the Hispanic guys that was on the side of me that I was shot. And they didn't know where I was shot at because they didn't see no blood. So I lifted up my arm, and they said that I got shot underneath my arm.
Is it over here?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that. Oh, that's where it went in? Yeah. So it wasn't that big of a bullet?
Nah.
Yeah, take off your shirt. So close to your spinal cord.
And I just laid down, and the pain started coming and coming, and then the ambulance came.
You know, when you hear something like that, you don't know what to think. First of all, your biggest concern is that physically he's okay, and then of course you understand, you begin thinking, Jesus, what are the circumstances that this happened in?
So it didn't cause any serious damage?
No, it didn't cause any serious damage. No.
Any damage at all?
Mm-mm. No damage. They took it out, and
here you are.
Yep, here I am. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here and standing and everything, running and doing what I'm doing. Because if it wasn't 3 inches any closer, I would have been in a wheelchair.
Kenyan was the target of an attempted carjacking. His assailants wanted the vehicle he was driving, his mother's gold Mercedes-Benz. The incident at Artesia and Pioneer left Rambo a changed young man. Ever since, Kenyan has regularly attended church and focused in on his studies.
My GPA, I think it's 2.7, probably right about now, 2.7. I'm trying to raise it up to get it higher so I can pass my test, and so my test would be easier.
He came to the school of 3,200 with a unique name. His athletic achievements have done nothing to tarnish it. As a junior, Kenyan grabbed a school record 50 catches, gained over 1,000 total yards, scored 12 touchdowns, and made the California Interscholastic Federation first team.
My future holds.
What do you hope it holds?
I hope it holds to get to the top, to get to that professional level, playing a professional ball.
He's running away from the nightmare of a gunshot wound 3 inches from his spine and headed directly towards a future as bright as the California sky.
Just about everywhere you look here in Long Beach, you will find ships, either of the smaller variety or, well, shall we say the bigger variety, like the Queen Mary here, permanently docked on location just for us. And thanks, Melissa, that was a great story. Little football factoid concerning the Queen Mary. This ship is over 1,000 feet long. Let me see, that would be over 3 football fields in length. All right, time for us to take a break, but as we do, a reminder, if you got a great story idea for us, please drop us a line to SSA Story Ideas, 1435 North Meridian Street. That's in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the zip code there is 46202. We'll be right back with more of SSA. Stay with us. Mother Nature came a-calling on a local Indianapolis high school recently. The close call came when the Decatur Central football team was finishing up practice. Lightning actually struck the ground nearby, sending 25 players to the hospital with minor injuries. The good news was the bolt apparently got the rest of the team charged up as the Hawks opened the season with an impressive 27-7 victory. You know, once again, the good news there is that everybody was ultimately okay, including the team, because they got the win. All right, time for our SSA Hometown Hero, and for this one, we head off to San Francisco, where Jamar Shepard has run, well, a mere 3 miles in the past 3 years. So what's the big deal? Well, he does it on an average of 6 yards a carry. Get it? He's a football player. What does it take to be one of America's most wanted running backs? To average over 1,600 yards a season and 6.5 yards a carry in your high school career? Or maybe to score once out of every 10 times you touch the ball? Or to be the recruiting target of Division I schools from coast to coast? Jamar Shepard of San Francisco's Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep High is the total package. At 6'2", 195 pounds. Jamar runs a 4.40 and is the best running back prospect to come out of the San Francisco Prep ranks in 25 years.
You would think that because of his size, he might be a little bit too big or outgrow his position, but I tell you, for his size, he's very elusive, and he's got speed, and he's got power, and you know, he's got the total package, in my opinion.
Coach Freed is right. Jamar's development has given Sacred Heart a chance at an undefeated season and himself a chance at a 2,000-yard season.
I want to have an undefeated season. That's my #1 goal as a team. And just all around, I just want to get better every day. And that's being the best that I can be, just getting better.
What lies ahead for Jamar? Big-time football, that's for sure, and the pressure is building for San Francisco's best. Jamar's Irish teammates say that he transforms himself from a modest, humble young man off the field to one of Sacred Heart's most intense players when he's on it. It's a quality found in all dominant players, and in San Francisco, California, the name Jamar Shepard and the word dominate go hand in hand.
I feel that I'm what you would call a traditional running back. You know, I don't have all the spin moves or anything. I just try to get in the end zone.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Do you know what I'm looking at? Do you, ma'am, do you know, do you know what I'm looking at in here? I can't believe that they're number 3, they're number 5. That's amazing. That is amazing. I'm looking at the latest USA Today SSA football rankings. Check them out. All the way back there, right? You go take him back there, right? Hey, what are you carrying there? Can I help you out? No? Okay. Well, listen, will you do me a favor? Will you just stop for a moment, look right into there, and let's watch the SSA honor roll. You'll do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Honor roll. It's an honor to have you watch the honor roll right there. It won't hurt.
Mike Kroll from Maine South High School in Park Ridge, Illinois, just northwest of Chicago, is this week's honor roll student. Mike is a senior all-state midfielder on a Hawks soccer team, currently ranked number 2 in Illinois and picked by many to capture the state championship. As you might guess, with high expectations come increasing pressures.
I feel pressure from my parents. My parents expect me to do well, and same with my teammates. I think expect me to do well. So, in order to break that, I just have to give it all whenever I'm out in the field, because they're gunning for our team and probably me. So I got to keep working. So I like that kind of pressure. I just like being in a kind of situation where where you're against the wall and everyone's expecting you to do stuff and going at you, and I think it brings out my competitive spirit, and I do better out there.
Mike has his sights set high. How high, you may ask? How do the Olympics sound? You see, Mike was recently named to the Olympic development team, an honor awarded to only a few soccer players throughout the entire nation.
When things get tough on the soccer field, or even in the classroom, Mike's been able to deal with it and keep it all in proper perspective. You see, since the age of 8, he's been dealing with adversity because at that time he was diagnosed with ITP, a rare blood disorder.
Well, when I was a younger kid, I had a low platelet level, like low white cells and low platelets, and that caused me, if I'd get cut, that I just keep bleeding and it wouldn't stop. So, that's what with soccer. That made me realize, when I wasn't out there, I was in pain. I wanted to keep playing and stuff, and it was hard watching other people play. And when I had to sit out, it was very difficult for me to watch it. I was only young, but
I still realize, you know, how important it is for me to keep playing.
It's completely gone, and you know, it makes me really excited to see him out here playing, because nobody really knows what he went through in his life as far as he himself coping with a situation such as he went through.
Although soccer is his focus after school, his education still is priority one. Mike maintains a solid 3.0 grade point average, not such an easy task when you consider he has to tackle the books as well as his opponents.
I think the activity kind of did good for my schoolwork because it kept me busy and it helped me manage my time a little bit better.
The goals are simple. See the team succeed first. Mike is not in it for the glory. It's his unselfish attitude that makes him a team leader.
Well, he's the man. He controls the middle. And anybody who knows soccer, you know that you got to control the middle to win the game. And basically, he is the team. He's amazing. He's like a machine. One point, you see him all the way on one side of the field, and then the next second, you just turn around and you see him all the way on the other side.
We try to get the team involved, you know, and I like working together as a team.
For Scholastic Sports America, I'm Brad Hoken.
The SSA Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? Full steam ahead, and we move on here on SSA as well. Welcome to the wheelhouse of the Queen Mary. Now, this beautiful ship made her maiden voyage back in 1936, and her regular route was from Southampton, England, over to New York City and back. I think it took back in those days, it was like 40 days or something. No, I'm kidding. Our director over there of the boat is like going, no, no. Well, all right, we'll settle her down as you take a look at our next story. Georgia is known as the Peachtree State. It's also known for its picturesque summers and beautiful falls. It also happens to be home to one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the country.
Some of my strengths are probably intelligence with decision making, and I guess I'm pretty accurate with a strong arm. That's probably my main assets.
An asset? Yeah, you could say that. Last season, he passed for over 1,500 yards for the Trojans, collected 17 TDs along the way, and earned all-county honors. Scouts absolutely love his arm and ability to throw deep, and his leadership qualities. Oh yeah, not to mention that quick release of his. Stephen also has a good relationship with his coach, Marty Galbraith. So close, in fact, that he calls him Dad.
It's good to play for my dad. Contrary to what people think, we don't take it home. He's helped me a lot, especially with recruiting. And then when I'm struggling, he helps me out a lot too. He knows the right things to say.
With the role of leading the team also comes discipline in the classroom.
Academics has to be top priority, and all you got to do, it's hard because you got to make a lot of sacrifices because your time's so constrained, but you got to get your work done first.
Stephen maintains a 3.8 grade average and is undecided on what university to attend, although he shows an interest in the Southwest Conference and the ACC. I'm sure walking down the deck here of the Queen Mary gave all those passengers all those years ago plenty of time to reflect. And sitting here in the original deck chairs has given me time to reflect as well. And what an appropriate time, because my time on Scholastic Sports America has come to an end. It has been a terrific 6+ years, but it is time to move on. And so the producers of the show asked me to reflect back on what have been some of my more vivid memories, things that have stuck with me. Well, tell me if you like what I remembered. You know what the best part of hosting Scholastic Sports America was? The people. What a kick to get to know all those people from all across the country. I remember the first summer heading down south to Louisiana to chat with Chanda Rubin. Chanda was great, but man, let me tell you, it was hot. I remember the humidity in Hawaii as well, but it was the tears of the Molokai volleyball team while talking about their fallen teammates that will stay with me forever. Facing death was part of the reality for Chris Copeland, the frail boy, now a young man, from Mount Pleasant, Iowa. He had contracted the HIV virus through a blood transfusion, and he knew his life would never be the same. The future was not a major concern for some of the young people which crossed my path. Their talent was so obvious that I knew, barring injury, their dreams would come true. Tiger Woods was a no-brainer. Both his demeanor and ability were equally impressive. I remember the first time I saw Jason Kidd play basketball. I kept thinking, you know what? This just isn't fair. Come to think of it, I thought the same thing watching Glenn Robinson. Corliss Williamson had a huge game as well, but I remember he had an appetite to match it. He took me to his favorite burger joint there in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I was buying, and he almost broke the bank. Nowadays, Jerry Stackhouse could buy a bank, but the first time I met Jerry, we were discussing his height. The program said he was 6'7". I said he was 6'5". He said it didn't matter. You know what? He was right. I hope Stefan Marbury sees this. He still owes me $20. I got lucky and beat him in a shooting contest. I told him he could pay me when he made it to the pros. Hey, Stefan, time to pay up, buddy. I first saw Napoleon Kaufman 6 years ago. It was a Friday night football game in Lompoc, California, and I knew then I'd see him play on Sunday someday. Ron Paulus trusted me, and I appreciated it. He told me several days before his official news conference that he had decided to attend the University of Notre Dame. He's a good guy and a great quarterback. And remember the name Dan Kendra, a star in the making, a quarterback with a penchant for the Special Forces. Don't expect him to ride the pine for long down at Florida State. Michelle Marciniak just capped her collegiate career with a national championship at Tennessee. It may not be politically correct to say, but when I first saw her all those years ago in Allentown, Pennsylvania, I kept thinking, she plays just as good as a guy. You know what? It's meant as a compliment. And how could I forget Shelbyville, Tennessee? Sellout crowds watched Tiffany Woosley weave her magic years ago, and so did we. Kristen Fokel was and continues to be the star of two sports, volleyball and basketball. I asked her if she could dunk. She said she didn't know, but she'd try. Well, now we know. I made several trips to Thousand Oaks, California. That's where I met Marion Jones. She could dunk too. Okay, so it was only a volleyball, but when she took her act outside is when she could really fly. Marion Jones is still the fastest high schooler I've ever seen. I'm almost always asked what my favorite stories were. Well, one was as recent as last year when we traveled to Malta, Montana, where the entire town was trying to deal with the ravages of a burned-down high school. I'll never forget the Rocky Mountains and Rocket Reeves. He taught me what snowboarding was all about. Scholastic Sports America took me home on more than one occasion as well. First was Alaska. Covering that state's sports brought back a lot of memories of when I played them there as a boy. And who can forget South Africa? What a thrill to head off to that country. Now, some people said that the angle of our special might be a reach. Once we arrived, the reality of it set in. In this nation's changing political and social structure, sport will be a common bond that the youth of the country can look forward to. You know what? I look forward to returning someday. Yep, to South Africa and who knows, maybe even Scholastic Sports America. Well, you know, that's the best part of doing this show is I will always have those memories, and of course you always leave somebody out. There was Peyton Manning and Marshall Falk and curling in Bemidji, Minnesota, and hockey in Maine, and skiing in New Hampshire, and yeah, the list goes on and on. But you know what? This show goes on, and it's in good hands, because remember Melissa Stark, that reporter that we've seen the last 2 weeks? Well, Melissa's your new host, and I'll tell you, Melissa, congratulations. I've heard a lot of good things about you, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun.
Well, thanks, Dan. You're going to be a tough act to follow. I only hope that I can continue your legacy as well as Charlene Hawkes.
And Chris Fowler.
Chris Fowler. It goes way back.
And you know what? You're going to have somebody someday saying the same thing to you as your career moves on and you do other things. So
I hope so.
I know you're going to have a lot of fun.
I only hope so.
Good luck to you.
Well, Dan,
Yes.
unfortunately, as much as it pains me,
What?
I'm going to have to ask you to step aside.
Now,
I've got to take over. It's got to start somewhere.
That's the boot. See ya.
You can tell me how I do. Okay, here goes. I hope you enjoyed this edition of SSA. Look for us again on October 9th at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. For Dan Debenham, I'm Melissa Stark saying so long. What do you think?
She's good. You're good. You're good.
ESPN, the Total Sports Network presents the youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America. SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Hey there, guys and girls. Good to have you here on SSA this week. Melissa Stark in the stifling hot desert Southwest. If you remember a few weeks ago, former host Dan Debenham did a story on the first ever girls Nike basketball camp. And in this week's cover story, you're going to get to see some competition for those girls. Some of the best boys basketball players got together for the Nike and Adidas camps. Here's Dan Debenham once again.
My ultimate goal basically is just to get to the NBA. That's been my dream since I was a little kid, you know, coming up, just thinking about it every day, you know, working hard towards it. That's really my ultimate goal.
They are the gifted ones. In the air or on the ground.
Basically, I think we probably have easily 100 high Division I basketball players here.
Basketball and books were the focus this summer in Indianapolis at the Nike camp. 160 of America's best high school hoopsters went in search of some answers on and off the court.
Shay, I don't care if you're the shooting guard and you're the guy who went to Nike camp this summer. I don't care about all that, man. You're supposed to pass my class in order to play in the game tomorrow, Mr. Big Shot.
They're involved in 4 hours of academics and life skill work, leadership, social etiquette, how to conduct interviews, conflict resolution, SAT preparation, a proper use of library skills and materials.
The million-dollar question of the week, however, was directed at this young man. Shay, who is the top underclassmen basketball player in the country?
Oh, I think I am, yeah, most definitely, but we got other critics that feel differently.
Esteban Weaver came from Ohio and made his pitch for #1 player in the land. And is this kid the best big man in high school? Most in California certainly think so.
You got to come out strong and hopefully just every game play your hardest. And if things aren't going for you, just run the floor because coaches still look at you even though you're not scoring or anything. There's more than to basketball at this camp than just scoring it.
I think the best thing about it is there are so many good players here that every kid that's here has to bring his game up to a really high level.
Pretty good outlet pass. The action continues here at Nike camp, and you never know who you're going to bump into courtside, like this man, Vince Carter. It wasn't that many years ago that we saw him flying through the air, winning the Nike Slam Dunk competition. But you know, before you came to Nike, I heard you showed up at ABCD.
Yeah, I played there one time.
Yeah, so they can play.
Yeah, the good players are also.
All right, well, let's check out this year's camp.
Let's check it out. Hello, my name is Anthony Perry from Santee High School, Jersey City, New Jersey. and welcome to this year's ABCD camp.
A stands for athletics.
The B.
Cat.
The C celebrating D dunks. Another bad camp, Dickie V.
A, B, C, D.
Athletes for better career development. At least that's my interpretation.
240 players came from coast to coast and decided that the Adidas ABCD camp in Teaneck, New Jersey was the place to prep for college ball, or dare we say the NBA.
I'm going to play college basketball. That's just, that's one of my dreams. I always wanted to play college basketball. And Kobe and Kevin Garnett and Jermaine O'Neal, they were ready. And there's a lot of us that are not ready, so I wouldn't even try to fool myself and try to put myself in that situation.
A lot of people are talking about Lamar Odom as being one of the best players in the country and the most likely to have a true shot at the NBA after high school.
A must-stop for the NBA now are the summer camps. The ABCD camp is a priority. We have 18 requests as of today. We know are going to show up.
While the big-time coaches are watching Odom, the reality of the camp is slightly different for others. It's a time to learn things the hard way.
Yeah, when I came up the court, take my man one-on-one, I beat him. Then somebody smacked my ball the other way. But that's basketball, that's life, I gotta live with it and it's gonna happen.
For every kid out here to believe that they are a Kobe Bryant, they're killing themselves. There's only about 3 or 4 kids out there that could really even think about entertaining a thought like that.
I think every year you're going to have 1 or 2 kids who have the capability of going on to the next level and preparing themselves at that level as opposed to going to college for 1 or 2 years.
They have become a rite of passage for the gifted. Be it Nike or ABCD, they are the summer camps of future stars.
It was a great experience for me. Came in here, played well, did what I was supposed to do, and I was able to move on to college and have a very successful college career.
I think the biggest difference is you see so many good players. It used to be that maybe there was 1 great one or 5 great ones, but now it's, everywhere you turn, you see outstanding players.
Nice story, Dan, but I thought we got rid of you last week. Just kidding. In all seriousness, Dan's going to be helping us out here and there whenever he's available. We're bringing you the rest of the show from this beautiful desert botanical garden. And as I walked in, I've already gotten pricked by a cactus. We're going to go to a short break, but here's a guy you may recognize.
Hey, don't go away. I'm telling you, it's going to be super scintillating sensational. Coming up on SSA, it's going to be awesome, baby. I can't wait to watch. Let's get that commercial over with. Hey, you better stay tuned.
Welcome back to Scholastic Sports America. So often we focus in on the teams with incredible winning streaks, but this is a story of a team that has a streak they would just as soon forget. The Nashua Girls High School field hockey team in New Hampshire is on a 6-year losing streak, but their spirits are still high.
I think this year we have a good chance. We have a really good coach this year, and I think this year she brought us new ideas and new techniques. That's what we were really lacking in the past couple of years. I mean, as you can tell just from talking to everybody else, we have a lot of spirit.
Yeah, we just tell them don't let the history bother you.
If it's not this year, it'll be definitely next year.
Hey girls, things aren't so bad. At least you can say you were on SSA.
I've done a lot of traveling in my lifetime, and I've seen a lot of different things, but I can honestly say I've never seen a garden like this one. There's 100 different types of cacti, there are century plants, there are even rattlesnakes. And there's a first time for everything because I've never seen a soccer team like this one. From Centerville, Ohio, Christy Lee has a story.
Located just south of Dayton, Ohio, Centerville High School boasts one of the top soccer programs in the nation, with the men's varsity team sitting at #1. While the popularity of soccer may not rank up there with football, basketball, or baseball yet, the community of Centerville knows their beloved Elks are big time.
Oh, it's gigantic for the community, especially with both the boys and the girls program.
with the club programs here in the community, and they've worked for years and years and years developing players for us. I mean, a good part of our success has been our feeder program out of the community. This kind of recognition isn't just for our team or for the high school, it's really for the entire soccer community of Centerville.
The 96 Elks are comprised of 6 seniors, 10 juniors, and 2 sophomores. But what makes this group of 18 young men so special?
Every single player on this team is a good player, and there's no weak links. From back to front, everybody's good, and we all work so well together. We have great chemistry. Everybody on the team is great friends with everybody else. We go out to parties, have a good time, and we're just all really good friends.
Even the best of buds need a leader. 3-year starter senior defender Phil Osberg is the guy who runs the show.
I direct traffic. I consider myself the general, but it's really neat to play with this caliber of players that I play with, because everything I say, it's going to be done, and everyone picks up their marks and follows them through, and it's really nice to know that when I say something or direct traffic that it gets done.
Centerville's latest opponent, Wayne High School, brought an impressive 7-1-2 record into the Elks soccer stadium, but midway through the first half, the Elks were on the scoreboard. With a real nice serve by Andy Jones to Chris Moeller, his header makes it 1-0. 15 minutes later, Andy got his own goal to push the score to 2-zip Elks.
An enthusiastic crowd as period 2 has just begun. The Centerville Elks and their 8-0-1 record being put to the test by their rivals, the Wayne Warriors. It's 2-0. We'll give you the final coming up in just a bit. Hey, these guys may say they play it one game at a time, but let me tell you, that pressure of a national ranking is hanging over their heads.
I found it interesting as far as the team is concerned when they first found out. Of course, they're really excited and everything. But on the other hand, a number of them said, well, that just throws out another challenge for us that we have to rise up to. And that's pretty much the way that they've tried to treat it. We try to treat each game as just another game, but also we realize that it affects where we stand and how people see us.
We feel that every night we have to come out and perform at our best level, and if we don't, we feel like we haven't lived up to our potential. So it's up to us to perform at the top level every time we come out and play.
Visibility, not a problem for Centerville soccer. The team has numerous championships. They've gone to the state finals 5 times, winning it all in '84. That was a long time ago, though, to these guys. Forget national rankings. The goal for this team, a state title. They're well on their way, winning again, beating the Wayne Warriors 2-0. On a national level, with football dominating the high school headlines, soccer continues to grow in leaps and bounds. But is the sport treated fairly?
No, I don't think so, but it's nice to know that it's treated with respect in Centerville.
So we know that the guys team is good, but you know what? The girls team is also good. They're ranked number 5 in the country. Not bad for a small school outside Dayton, Ohio. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, everyone. This plant here is the century plant that I was telling you about earlier, and it's called that because it lives for 100 years, obviously. Our next story is our hometown hero, and it's a story about a regular Odysseus, a man of many turns. Jason Williams from Texas.
Well, you've heard the saying before, oh, he's just the coach's son. He'll get plenty of playing time. But before Jason Williams put on a Bears uniform for the first time, he made it clear to his dad, David Williams, he wanted to be treated like any other player.
At first it was kind of hard. I had trouble, I kind of thought, didn't want kids to think I was getting any special treatment or anything.
Well, Dad obliged, and the rest is history. Jason's a junior at LCM and is already making an impact at wide receiver and on defense.
Well, it's pretty much a given to be a successful wide receiver in high school football. You've got to have some speed, but you've also got to have some great hands. Well, Jason has that down pat on and off the football field.
Just getting the template ready, or the boxes ready for the strip.
Since the age of 12, Jason has dreamed big dreams.
This is the main character right here, Sylvester, right here.
His right hand is as steady as the routes he runs on the football field. This 16-year-old is a cartoonist.
They're based off of my family and my friends and me.
For 2 years, Jason's very own Sylvester character was a daily strip in the Orange Leader.
Everything's real exaggerated. It's fun.
But other priorities associated with high school have forced Jason to cut back to just the Sunday edition. But his approach hasn't changed a bit.
A lot of his actions and features are kind of based off of things that I do and how I kind of look. And his parents are pretty much my parents. I named them after my parents, and they look just like my parents.
To stay sharp and remain focused on his hobby, Jason studies what he describes as the best in the business.
Calvin Hobbes, Garfield, Foxtrot, Peanuts, all those are just they're great comics. I kind of take notes on how one cartoonist will do this, and some will use other styles, and kind of helps me try to make my own style and make it unique.
And how much shelf life is left in Sylvester?
As long as this life keeps going around me, I can usually find something to write about.
This is Randy McElvoy reporting for Scholastic Sports America.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
This place is so big, I feel like I might get lost walking through here. But while I continue my tour of the Desert Botanical Garden, why don't you guys take a look at the USA Today Top 10 Football Rankings. And be sure to look in the USA Today newspaper on Monday for the Top 25 rankings. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to SSA. Now, let's check out this week's Honor Roll.
This week's Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
High school football can be a scary sport. A game made for guys, not gals, but don't tell that to Independence High's Kimberly Courant.
When I first came to high school, I always thought, well, that'd be neat to kick, and I just never really had the guts to do it. So now that I'm a senior, I thought, what the hey?
What the hey is right. Kimberly, a 14-year veteran of the soccer fields, and now she's following in her brother's footsteps as the Patriots kicker. A spot that wasn't given to her, she earned it. And her teammates don't seem to mind.
Not really. As long as she can run all the sprints we do, pull the tires, and just hang with us, then there's no big deal.
She's one of the guys, that's how we treat her in practice. Is no one's really came after her, but I guess it's all fair on the football field.
Patriots head coach Bill House says just having Kimberly on the field is a plus.
It benefits the program because they're not rowdy. They want to kind of take her under their wing and help her to understand the game.
Out here on the field, Kimberly is pretty much one of the guys, except this year the Patriots kicker is nominated for Homecoming Queen.
Now introducing the senior nominees. Jason McCreary with Kim Courant and Stephanie Anaya. And the 1996 Homecoming Queen, Yolanda Green.
Well, Kimberly didn't win Homecoming Queen, but she put the Patriots ahead in the third quarter with this extra point.
Nice kick. That's right now. Yes, let's go. 7-6.
Unfortunately, the Patriots couldn't hold the lead, but score one for sports equality. Kim proving high school football is more than a boys' game.
I don't think every girl should run out there, but if it's something they really want to do and they think that they're able to handle it, I don't see there's no problem that they can't be able to come out here and run around with the boys.
And who knows, Kim may just win one for the boys before it's over.
This is probably the most famous cactus in the Southwest. It's the only place in the world that it grows. It's called the saguaro cactus. We got to take a short break, but if you have any good story ideas or know of any great plays, send them to 1435 North Meridian Street. That's in Indianapolis, Indiana, 46202.
We'll be right back with more after this.
Remember when SSA first introduced you to Tiger Woods back in November of 1990?
I can do it if I put my mind to it like I'm doing right now. I'm on the way to being one of the greatest golfers, and I just got to keep on plugging along.
Yes, sir. Well, that was 6 years ago, and Tiger has now accomplished what no other amateur golfer ever had. He won 3 consecutive United States Amateur Championships, and just last month, this 20-year-old competed in his first tournament as a pro.
Would you please welcome Tiger Woods?
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Taking a little break from the sun here, trying to get into the shade. Up next, we've got an inspirational story about some underprivileged kids who are getting the chance to learn the game of golf.
San Diego, California. It's been long known for its outstanding junior golf programs. Standouts such as Scott Simpson and Phil Mickelson are just a couple of golfers that have started out there with a dream to someday compete on the PGA Tour. A dream that only an elite few could ever even think is possible. A kid from the inner city would never even consider a sport like golf. Until now. Colina Park Golf Course sits in the middle of the inner city in San Diego. It's a stark contrast from the surrounding area, where graffiti and youth gangs litter the neighborhood. The golf course fell victim to vandalism as well and was completely dilapidated until 4 local businessmen came to the rescue.
The grass was 2 or 3 feet high, the greens weren't usable, the trees had overgrown down to the ground. It was a mess. The building had been vandalized, and these men went to the city council. The city council agreed to give it to them for $600 a year, including power, water, and gas, if they would put together a sustainable youth golf program.
With a refurbished golf course, the Pro Kids Golf Academy was born. Its motto is off the streets and onto the fairways. And so far, it's working. In a program called Partnership in Education with Local Schools, kids can receive 1 credit for physical education if they participate in the Golf Academy. Ages range from 7 to 17 years old, and most kids get a taste of golf for the very first time.
A lot of times we just go out and play a quick 9 holes, and after that we come inside and work on homework together.
Even though they're kids, they take care of the course, they get educated here. I mean, when I play around and nobody's watching and I miss that 2-centimeter putt, I can't put that. I can't cheat. I can't do that anymore. I'm like, I have to put that. I mean, you can't. You already have in you the honesty and the respect for your game.
The program started a year ago with 1 class and 24 kids and has grown to over 130 students. The kids play the 18-hole par 3 course during the day, and when their round is over, it's time to hit the books. Golf teaches the students honesty, integrity, self-discipline, and respect for themselves.
I think golf is so unique in that if you look at most of our sports today, baseball, basketball, football, there's taunting, there's intimidation of your opponent, there's disregard for the rules, try to shave the rules, to argue with the referees and the officials. In golf, there's none of that. You must respect yourself in the game of golf. If you cheat yourself.
Chip Bolden is the head golf pro and has taught over 7,000 lessons to students ranging from 34 different ethnic backgrounds. These kids come from neighborhoods that average less than $10,000 in income.
In this situation here, the kids that we're dealing with may not have been exposed to golf at all before and maybe just trying it out. So some of the things that we may take for granted as far as knowledge, we really have to break new ground in introducing them to clubs, terminology, areas of the golf course, how the game's scored, as well as swing skills and fundamentals.
In life, it's impossible to succeed without an opportunity. And thanks to the Pro Kids Golf Academy, these young athletes have been given that chance.
it's like a fun place where you come, you study, you play, you enjoy yourself.
Well, that wraps up the show for this week. We hope you enjoyed being with us. Look for us on our next show. It's October 14th. That's a Monday at 3:30 Eastern Time, where we will be down in this big city right here, Phoenix, Arizona, looking at the #1 female junior golfer in the country, Grace Park. So we'll see you then.
ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents the Youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America. SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Hello everyone, welcome to Scholastic Sports America. Melissa Stark here in beautiful and surprisingly so, very windy Phoenix, Arizona. 2 words describe our cover story today. The first is an adjective, amazing. The second is her first name, Grace. Together, these 2 words describe America's best female junior golfer, Amazing Grace.
Well, if she isn't destined for fame on the LPGA Tour, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never seen a talent like hers at that young of an age, except for maybe Tiger Woods.
When are you amazing?
When I'm at the top of my game, when I'm happy, when I'm doing my best.
It is a game that frustrates most. It requires a seamless marriage of physical skill and mental resilience. Mother Nature has been rearranged for the folly of humans in pursuit of recreation. And only a select few come to master the sport's variables with relative ease. At 17 years of age, Grace Park from Phoenix, Arizona, has arrived at such a point. No other female her age is better at the game of golf.
What's the ultimate for you? Or as you might say, the pinnacle, the height of your career?
It'll definitely be when I win the U.S. Women's Open. This is the beginning. I mean, this is junior golf. It's the lowest level in, anything. I like to move on to college, and I'm hoping to just continue my success and just living up to my dream, just to become the best LPGA player.
It is a goal that the Park family has strived to achieve together. Originally from Korea, Grace was put on golf's fast track.
I had just graduated from 6th grade in Korea, and I moved to Hawaii first when I had just turned 12, and when I got adjusted to new culture and learned some English, both my parents decided to move me into mainland. I moved to the States and I started playing in national tournaments, and it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of people, and just back in Korea there weren't too many girls or guys my age that play golf, and met a lot of friends from golf and started winning tournaments, and I started liking it a lot.
It's amazing to watch her golf. She's so calm and everything's so smooth, and I have a lot of respect for the way she plays because I know it's not easy.
She sure makes it look easy. Grace has won 9 of the 13 national events she's entered this year and is on course to make her 3rd Rolex Junior All-American team.
On the course, she has tremendous length off the tee. She's already played in a couple of LPGA tournaments, and only the real big hitters like Laura Davies can outdistance her from the tee.
I'm pretty strong mentally. Physically I'm ready all the time. Mentally, I'm still working on it, but I've done pretty well under pressure and just keeping myself in control.
She has accomplished so much for somebody so young. Her life has been different. Golf is for the individual. There are no teammates to blame when things go wrong. And that has given Grace a chance to learn more about Grace.
Playing golf is like living a life. You have sad moment, happy, anger time. You go through a cycle of life out there that I learned to manage myself better, have control in myself, be confident, and most importantly, have fun and be positive about things that's happening to my life.
After attending private school all her life, Grace switched schools her junior year to experience more of a public school atmosphere here at Horizon High and live like a regular teenager. But when the bell rings and practice is over, she heads home to a life most teenagers could never imagine.
I live by myself, first of all, away from my parents in a different country. So I definitely have to be responsible. I have to take care of myself. It is lonely in time, but I'm used to it, and I know that this is what I have to, if this is what I have to go through to become what I want to, I'm willing to do it, and I'm used to it now, so I don't mind at all. Come on in, let's take a look around. This is my room. I just went shopping, so I have a couple of shopping bags. This is my desk, and unfortunately I do everything but my homework here. Just my room. This is where I watch my TV, do my homework, and just talk on the phone. 왜? 나 이 사람들 와가지고 말을 못하겠어. 카메라가 내 얼굴 바로 옆에 대고 있다. This is my kitchen, where you're supposed to be cooking, I guess, but when you live by yourself, whatever you can find, you try to eat.
It is a long way from Korea, her old life, and her old first name. After Grace moved to Hawaii in 6th grade, her father decided her birth name, Ji-eun, would be changed.
So my dad just kind of picked it out of nowhere, just from the air. And at first I didn't like it because, some of my friends teased me, my grandma's name's Grace, but I'm more used to it, and there are a lot of slogans. Grace on fire to me means when I'm on the golf course, I'm just playing my best, just making a lot of birdies, just doing great, you know, feeling great, just feeling very strong.
Grace under pressure is almost any time you want to come out and watch her play in any tournament or any match. When the chips are down, that's the person that you want hitting the ball. That's the person you want putting it on the green. She can handle it.
State of grace, state of mind, having control over myself, knowing what I'm doing out there. Grace on grace. I think it's being graceful. The word grace just means, you know, being loyal, just something that you can look up to, you know.
She has a growing reputation as the female version of Tiger Woods, a golf game ahead of her time, and a personality to match that those guys who make sneakers are going to love. The pressure is building around her by others who have expectations. Some on our visit told us she would only stay in college for 1 year. Which school and for how long is still undecided. One of the many decisions Miss Park will surely answer in time, and in the only manner she knows how, with grace. All right, Grace, I've had a few lessons in my life, but I'm definitely no Grace Park, so tell me what to do here.
Just put your eye on the ball and just get it to the hole.
Okay, here goes.
It's going in.
Oh, nice. Maybe I should join you out there. All right, you're great on the golf course. We want to see how you are on TV. Tell us where to send SSA story ideas.
It's 1435 North Meridian Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46202.
Terrific. We're a good team. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We've got an interesting tour for you today. You and I are going to learn how golf clubs are made. We're at the Ping Factory here in Phoenix, and guess what? Grace Park uses Ping clubs, so that's got to tell you something. Before we start our tour, take a look at the next story. It's an inspirational one about a young man, a place kicker from Montgomery, Alabama.
ACA's Tyler Dixon says nothing stands in his way of repeating 2A Place Kicker of the Year honors in the Capital City Conference. Players and coaches agreed, saying Tyler hasn't missed a step since last season. His play so far this year proves it. It's a sight that few here, with the exception of Tyler, thought they'd ever see again.
Tyler kicking off the season for the Alabama Christian Academy Fighting Eagles was quite inspirational to his team, considering just a couple of weeks beforehand, on July 4th night, he and a few teammates were playing with fireworks when the worst possible thing happened.
We were just throwing bottle rockets, and one of my friends threw one, and it hit me in the eye, and we called 911. It took me a while to come to. I mean, I was still I was in complete shock. I was more worried about how warm and cold I was until I woke up in the hospital room. And then when the doctor told me I'd lost my eye, it kind of hit me.
A week out of the hospital, he was back out on the practice field. His physical and mental recuperation quite evident.
The morning after Tyler's surgery, I guess it may have been a Friday morning, the first time he woke up, I was there, and the first thing he told me, is he let me know it wasn't my fault, and that really hit home right there.
I feel like we can play the season for him, really. So, something to keep us going. Just because, if he can fight back from something like that, then nothing should let us down.
We're a more unified team. We have more genuine caring about each other than we've had, I believe, in the last several years. And I believe that's God's way of using this injury and for the good of not only Tyler, but for everyone involved.
For the ACA Fighting Eagles, they only hope their season mirrors their kicking game, that it's up and good. In Montgomery, Alabama, I'm Vince Lennon for Scholastic Sports America.
This is where it all begins. This is the fitting area, and Mark here is going to explain to us how he goes about fitting somebody.
What we do in here is we fit the customer to the proper golf equipment by taking measurements from the wrist to floor, their height, and also some hand sizes, and then we have them hit the golf ball off the slide board.
All right. While I'm getting fitted, why don't you guys take a look at the USA Today top 10 football rankings, and don't forget to look Monday morning in USA Today for the top 25 rankings. Pretty good. Welcome back to the show. Now we're actually in the factory, and what you see going on here is he's gluing the head to the shaft and then hammering it in. There's a lot of jingling and jangling going on here. Coming up next is our honor roll.
Meet Jennifer Wiedeberg, an accomplished soccer player and a top-notch student. Last year, the ladies soccer team at Randolph High School in New Jersey was ranked #1 in the country, a plateau that was difficult to reach. But once they did, it was a day that Jennifer would not soon forget.
I remember we were all standing in the gym and we all just went crazy. Everyone was so excited. They announced it over the loudspeaker, and our principal and our teachers and like all the students and everyone were like congratulating us. It was really great.
This year, Jennifer knows that repeating as state champs will be tough, but not out of the question.
We have majority of our team back, and we've worked even harder this year than we did last year. And so obviously we're hoping to do even better than last year, including winning the state title again.
Like many superstars, Jennifer makes the players around her better. But surprisingly, her coach admits that she makes her better as well.
Jennifer's made me a better coach because she's such an exceptional athlete. We've searched for things to try to make her a better player. You know, there's no giving with her either. We probably are more difficult on her than anyone else because we know her capabilities are exceptional.
In her senior season, Jennifer has taken on the responsibility of being a leader, and her teammates agree she is great at it.
She's a phenomenal leader. When things are tough, Jen steps it up either by talking to us or coming up with a great move or putting a great goal in or just anything. She's a great leader and just a great support person.
Speaking of support, Jennifer points to her parents as key role models to help her with her soccer career.
They've been here at every single one of my games ever since I was little, probably because they want to make sure I don't get hurt just as much as they want to see me do well too and our team do well. But I definitely think it's important to have support from your family.
Jennifer puts a lot of time into perfecting her game, but don't let her fool you. She definitely puts the books first. Maybe that explains her 3.8 GPA.
Some people they think you're just an athlete and you can't do well in school, but I don't feel that way.
This week's Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? Okay, this is the next step in the line. This is John. John, what's going on here?
Well, once the club heads are on the shafts, we cut the shafts to the proper lengths, and I'll demonstrate that right now.
Okay, cut away. We'll be right back with more of the show after this.
Welcome back to SSA. The basketball gap between the USA and the world got a little smaller this past month with the second annual Cape Camps in London, England. The tournament featured 6 teams from Poland, England, Antigua, Germany, and the U.S. in 3 days of competition. The focus may have been basketball on the court. Off the court, the City of London offered more than enough to keep the interest high for the players.
This is for you.
Oh yeah, let's not forget about the games. There were lots of fast breaks and buckets to match the great defense. But in the end, the Americans rose to the top and took home the championship.
We are just moving right on down the line here today. What's going on right now is they're putting the grip onto the shaft. And I'm just learning so much in this factory. Looking good, nice job. Up next is our hometown hero. She's a neat dual sport athlete, and her dad has got a cool job too. They're from California.
Hometown hero may not be enough to describe this two-sport star. Say hello to Drisana Carey. Drisana is the senior leader and 4-year starter on the University of San Diego High School Lady Dons volleyball team. Drisana plays outside hitter, and her game is played above the net. I mean way above the net. This 5'9", 130-pounder can touch the 10-foot mark, making defending her a tough challenge for most teams.
Drisana is both a leader and a go-to player. On the court, again, she rallies the girls to want to win. She pulls them together. She's been playing varsity ball for 4 years. She knows what it takes to be a winner. She also is our go-to player. She has vertical that far outstands anybody on the court. And when we need to set her to put the ball away, we'll go to her. She can hit over the blocks, around the blocks, and through the blocks.
You just feel the ball, and if it's a sweet, sweet hit, it just feels great on your hand, and you can feel it all through your body. It's just amazing.
Drisana has found the sweet spot in her game, which has college recruiters drooling across the country. She has reason to boast about an overall 3.8 GPA. Oh yeah, but did I mention two sports?
My main race right now is the 800 and the 400 and the 4x400 and high jump. And sometimes I throw in the long jump and the, I don't know, maybe a mile.
Drisana also runs for the Lady Dons track team. She won the San Diego section CIF title in the 800-meter last year, as well as setting school records in the 4x400 relay, and naturally, the high jump. College is in this star's future, but where?
I don't really know where I want to go yet. I just want to play at a top Division I college. I want to be on one of the best teams that are out there.
Busy enough? Well, not quite. On Sundays, Drisana is a big football watcher. Maybe not for her favorite team, but for her father. Michael Carey is a referee in the NFL.
It's really neat to see him on TV with like all the pros out there. It's a really neat thing to be able to have your dad like a part of the NFL. That's a really neat organization.
With a busy schedule that includes playing two sports and watching Dad, she also finds time to be a teacher's aide at the local grade school.
I go over to Holy Family, which is a Catholic grammar school down the street, and I help little first graders, and we do tutoring one-on-one, like math and reading and stuff. It's a real neat thing to be able to watch the little kids and go in their world for an hour out of your day.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Welcome back to SSA. This is a story about someone who is, well, special. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name is Gabriel Lane. Gabriel has received a lot of attention nationally, not because he can throw a football 60 yards, not because he can run a 4.440, but because the 20-year-old Gabriel Lane had a dream to someday play high school football with his buddies. Simple enough for most kids, but a monumental task for Gabe. You see, Gabriel has Down syndrome and was too old, according to the Colorado High School Activities Association.
Plus, they didn't allow disabled students to participate in prep sports after the age of 19. Gabe's family even went to federal court to overrule the CHSAA, but that failed too. It wasn't until overwhelming support from the public that the CHSAA reversed the decision, and Gabe was allowed to reach his dream.
Well, he's been on a roller coaster ever since it started, so he's been telling me since he was that big that he's wanted to play football. And we all just thought that that was just something that would never happen for him. So, and ever since this has started, it's been, I'm playing, and then he realizes that he wasn't, and then he'd be really upset and confused. But I mean, today this is just because he finally knows he's actually part of the team now. So I can't wait to talk to him.
Oh, it means everything. It really does. He's worked so hard that this is the end. So as far as the means go, so he's been able to accomplish what we set out to do. It's absolutely tremendous because I know he now feels that he's part of the team, and to him that's the biggest thing, to be one of the guys, and he's thrilled.
Gabe spent most of the first half on the sidelines, rooting for his JV teammates from Greeley Central High.
It's okay to have fun, but you gotta focus. Yeah, okay? Focus on the game now, all right? Okay? I want to see you get that ball carrier.
I think at this point, Gabe's come far enough in his conditioning and his work ethic, and those things have come that he can play football now.
He's like any other player.
That's the way you got to treat him, and that's the way he is, and that's the way he's treated.
With his trainer, Jason Renoff, Gabe spent much of the half anticipating the moment he has worked so hard for. And then, that moment finally came. It doesn't matter that Gabe didn't make the tackle or whether he even can make the tackle. What matters is he got to be one of the guys.
He's never going to forget it. I can guarantee that. So he'll have the helmet mounted on the wall for the rest of his life.
He doesn't get in on a lot of the parties and activities that the other kids do. So he comes home, a lot of times he's by himself, and so I try to make up for that myself personally, because he's got a lot of self-esteem. I don't want to see that be broken, and I like to see it get nothing but better. So his self-confidence through all this has grown by leaps and bounds.
Gabe saw action in 8 plays in the game. 8 plays that were just as important as Franco Harris's immaculate reception or Doug Flutie's Hail Mary. Gabe's prayers were answered in those 8 plays, and his efforts just may change the way some people think of heroes like Gabe.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah, thank you.
Gabe,
Congratulations.
I wanted my son to meet you because I told him he had the heart of a champion. Can I shake his hand?
Hey, that's nice, huh, Gabe? You do have the heart of a champion.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot. That's real nice.
You bet.
Heart of a champion, man. Huh? Cool, bud.
Our tour is over, and this is pretty much where they wrap the clubs up and ship them out. So we hope you enjoyed this week's show. Look for us next week, Monday, October 21st at 3:30. We'll feature maybe the best junior quarterback in the country, Ronald Curry from Hampton, Virginia. So for now, I'm Melissa Stark saying so long.
ESPN, the Total Sports Network presents the Youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America. SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Scholastic Sports America. Melissa Stark here in a very windy Norfolk, Virginia. We're down by the waterfront right now, but we go 10 miles from here for our first story to Hampton, Virginia. It's a story about a unique young man with, of course, a lot of athletic talent, but at age 17, mature beyond his years after facing one of the most difficult challenges that life has to offer.
He was coming home after a summer league basketball game, him and his best friend. He was on his way to his house, and the cars rolled around him about 2 or 3 times. And the last time they got out, they attempted to rob him. And he only had, a couple pocket change. And I guess they thought he was trying to get something, so they shot him in the head, and he died the next day. Well, it was like the brother I never had. He told me the traits of the game. He told me everything, how to play basketball, play football with me, talk to me when I had problems. I could always depend on him.
Jamel Dennis was 16 years old. He was a high school football star. He was a son. He was shot in the head and died for the 41 cents in his pocket. He was Ronald Curry's cousin and his best friend.
That night I said he got so upset, and I cried with him, trying to comfort him, and he cried so bad, and I said, well, everything will be all right. Leave it in God's hands, and it'll be all right.
Yeah, he's still with me spiritually, and everything I do is for him. When I score, I always give thanks to him and to God.
For Ronald Curry of Hampton, Virginia, it is here at his cousin's gravesite that he summons the will and inspiration to continue on in his own life. Jamel was not just a close relative of Ronald's, but actually the older brother he never had. And now Ronald plays football in his honor and has become arguably the best junior quarterback in the nation.
If there's a better football player in this country, I don't know where he is. He's the best I've ever seen.
He was the first freshman ever to start at quarterback for Hampton High. And as a QB, punt returner, or defensive back, Ronald Curry's raw talent is obvious. At 6'3", 200 pounds, no one has seemed to catch up with him yet.
Well, right here is a punt return that I picked up off the bounce. I eluded one tackler and stiffed armed the next tackler coming up right here. And from there on, I just read all my blocks and cut it up. Here's a good block right here on the last tackler. And cut off his block. Then I seen the end zone, felt no one was gonna catch me from the back. And ran hard.
Just run as fast as I can, because he's gonna throw it either on the money or where I could get to it at. And if I'm covered, he'll throw it away, so he won't make a mistake and throw an interception. So I feel comfortable when I'm going out.
He has become a celebrity at Hampton High. After his first 2 years as a crabber, the reviews were unanimous. A star was born. One opposing coach said, quote, he was the best freshman I've ever seen. Another rival coach added in this August 1995 article from the Hampton Daily Press, quote, he has great natural instincts and understands the game awfully well. He's very perceptive and sees a lot of things on plays that he can come back to later in the game. And finally, another Virginia high school football critic commented on the Crabbers' chances in 1996. Quote, I don't care how many starters Hampton lost. They have Curry back, and that's enough to make them my pick for the district title.
Well, I don't feel any burden to be perfect. I just try to act like Ronald Curry. The little kids, they come up to me after the game. They tell me, how they feel about me, express feeling like, they tell me like I'm the greatest player they ever seen.
If I say, Ronald, you come in at a certain time, I don't have to say that. Because when Ronald comes from school, Ronald is right here, getting his homework and going to bed. He eats his dinner, and whenever he leaves from that table, he never leaves from there and says, thank you, Big Mama.
We real close. I tell her if I have a problem, she can talk to me. She's just like one of us. She might be kind of old, but she can relate to everything we're doing. She been through everything. She knows what we're about to go through.
Lillian Crawford is the legal guardian for Ronald and his 2 cousins. The boys call her Big Mama. Ronald's parents moved to North Carolina when he was 12. They all agreed Ron could stay in Virginia to pursue his athletic goals at Hampton High. She has only one house rule, that all the boys attend church on Sunday. Big Mama has very quickly evolved into a motherly figure for Ronald.
I try to encourage him in everything he do. Just like he said, you all were coming? And I said, Ronald? He said, will it be all right, Big Mama? I said, sure, because anything that is contained into those children, I love to see it. I go along with everything. I go along with everything they do.
Emotionally, I'll be a leader, but I don't talk that much around the team, so I can't really say. Like if they get out of line, I probably won't tell them to get in line. I probably just look at them.
I think he understands the game a little more. He gets better reads on his passing situations, but he's got a brilliant mind, very perceptive of things.
U.S. history, level 3, take physics, Latin 3, my English class is level 3, and trigonometry. When they play in the national anthem, I always pray, to him and to God. And when I score a touchdown, I thank God, and I thank him like he's with me.
And so it goes that the best quarterback in Virginia remembers his past and plots his future. Armed with a 3.75 grade average, a game that is ready for Division I football, and the motivation to succeed in honor of his fallen cousin.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that story. Guess where we are right now? We're in the front of the USS Preble. It's a battleship that actually saw time in Desert Storm. It's all part of Nauticus, which is a national maritime center that has everything to do with the sea. We're going to get a chance to look around here today, but we got to take a short break. Before we go, if you have any good story ideas or know of any great plays, send them to 1435 North Meridian Street. That's in Indianapolis, Indiana. The zip code is 46202. We'll be right back after this. Really cool. We're in the Aegis Theater right now, and this is actually a simulation of the command center of an Aegis destroyer, and it's really neat. They're actually showing us the technology that they would use during wartime. But we got to take a look at our next story. We go to New Orleans to look at Eli Manning, as in Peyton and Archie Manning.
He's knows what he's doing. He knows how to read defenses, and he knows pretty much before the play even goes on who's going to be open. He can, spots defenses, spots holes in the defense.
He stays in the pocket a long time, and he finds the open receiver. And usually we've had tendencies of our past quarterbacks to get kind of nervous and throw the ball away or throw it out of bounds, but he stays back there and he sticks with it until one of us breaks open.
You can really see the Manning, touch, if you could call it. Great poise, quick release.
The Manning touches have been passed down to sophomore quarterback Eli Manning of Isidore Newman School in New Orleans. Through 6 games, Eli has completed 64 of 117 passes for 963 yards and 11 touchdowns. His Greenies are 5-1 on the year. Eli will be the first to admit that he's had some pretty good role models at the quarterback position, namely Father Archie, a former All-Pro who enjoyed 14 years in the NFL, and older brother Peyton, a Heisman Trophy candidate this year at Tennessee. Eli learned something from each.
They both taught me a lot just about throwing it, standing in the pocket. My dad was a runner. Peyton's kind of stay in the pocket, don't like to run much. I stick with his theory, and but they both just helped me out a lot. And just my dad kind of threw sidearm, but I've stuck with Peyton, just kind of stay in the pocket and throw it. Good mechanics.
One thing Eli would like to copy from Peyton is leading Newman back to a district championship. To accomplish that, he'll have a lot of help from his teammates who all have the same goals. District championship first, state championship in the Superdome second.
I'm going out here and try to lead this team to win and try to get us to a state championship and just to the playoffs.
Every week, if we take a step forward, it's another 12 steps to the dome. District first, practice on Thanksgiving, playing an indoor game.
Newman head coach Frank Gendusa hopes to see the 2 Manning quarterbacks in the dome for their biggest games of the year.
It would be incredible to have the two Manning boys win big games in the Dome, especially at that time of the year. And with Archie's number posted up and retired up on top of the Dome, you might have to tow a couple more of those numbers up there later.
Michael Lupin Field on the campus of Isidore Newman School has now been home to 3 Manning brothers, Cooper, Peyton, and Eli, and with their father Archie comprise the first family of Southern football.
I'd have to say that I don't know of any other family or any other group that you can even put that title to. They're a great family.
The patriarch of the family, Archie, sums up the advice he has given Eli.
I tell Eli, just like I've always told my other kids when they leave on Friday morning, go have fun. And I think this is a fun program here at Newman. It's a fun league, and high school football should be fun.
Because of the support Eli receives from his family and teammates, there will be plenty more fun days ahead for Eli Manning and the Newman Greenies. For Scholastic Sports America, I'm Paul Atkinson.
From battleships to sharks, there is so much going on in this museum. Right now, we are at the Shark Lagoon, and I get a chance to pet my first shark ever. This is so exciting. I'm a little bit nervous here. They told me to pet it right down the center, so here goes. Ooh, a little slimy there. This is called the nursing shark because of the way it eats. While I keep petting this, why don't you guys take a look at the top 10 USA Today football rankings. We'll be right back after this. Make a right, okay. Here we go. Okay, we are in a virtual reality submarine right now, and I am the pilot. I got my crew around me. Okay, there we got some eggs. Okay, we're going down to rescue the Loch Ness Monster's eggs to bring them back for research. All right, I gotta concentrate on this screen right here. Okay, while I am down here rescuing these eggs, why don't you guys take a look at this week's honor roll.
This week's Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
We've all heard the phrase, nobody's perfect, but don't tell that to Surendra D'Cruz. This 17-year-old Fort Walton Beach native has been tumbling with some of Florida's best wrestlers for 3 straight years. In this, his senior year, it's time to take charge and pin down a state title.
Basically, you just go out there and you try and wrestle your match. You watch, you've practiced hard for every day beforehand. You spend hours conditioning. You know, we're the best shaped athletes around here because of our conditioning so intense. And you just want to wear away at the man and just keep attacking till the 3rd period, and then he's pretty much yours.
At 5'9", 143 pounds, he squares up to his opponents with a healthy appetite of speed and agility. But by far, his strongest asset is his mind.
He's a quick learner. Everything that we've tried to teach him, he's come away and he's actually improved upon a lot of the techniques by his knowledge of the sport. And he's just very intelligent on the mat, and he's done just an excellent job of making himself a better wrestler through his knowledge of the sport.
As a wrestler here at Choctawhatchee High School, Surendra has raised a lot of eyebrows, but he's known even more for tackling the books than anything else. Currently, with advanced placement courses included, he has a grade point average of 4.7, and he got a perfect score of 1,600 on his SAT test.
Well, I tried it about 4 times before, and the previous time right before it, I got a 1520. My parents pushed me to try it one more time, and I was having trouble with the math, and I did that again, and that worked out pretty good for me.
He's one of those dream students that he's always right there with them on every topic that they end up going over. He's always does up and beyond the call of duty, turning in work, academically speaking. He's just right up there at the top.
What does this type of dedication mean for you in your future?
It pretty much means a stable life that I get a lot out of. It keeps me from being lopsided in any one area,
and it keeps me with a fresh perspective on both things.
For Scholastic Sports America, I'm John Linder.
All right, we are still submerged in water, and I'm trying to find these eggs. Oh, I see a bunch of them right now. I think I'm doing better since we last saw you. Thanks, John, for that story. I'm gonna back up here. We gotta take a short break, and I'm gonna rescue these eggs. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Now that I'm back to reality, feeling slightly less dizzy, you all have to take a look at this next story. It's a story about a football player who has overcome a great obstacle.
Thanks, Melissa, and welcome to Pleasant View, Utah, about 45 miles north of Salt Lake City. Now, this place is really known for the immovable object known as the Wasatch Front, but it's not that immovable object that brings us to Weber High School. It's another budding immovable object with a slight twist. His name is Kelly Bartlett. At first sight, Kelly Bartlett seems to be your average 17-year-old high school junior, but at an early age, Kelly was dealt what he now calls a small setback.
When I was 5, I was diagnosed with cancer, and they tried 2 surgeries to take the lump out of my ankle, and none of those worked, so they amputated my leg.
Since then, Kelly has learned to walk and run with the assistance of a prosthetic leg, which he attaches just below his knee. But being able to walk and run wasn't enough. After teaching himself to ski on one leg, he decided he wanted to play football.
I really had no doubt that I'd keep doing sports and stuff, so I never really thought about what it wouldn't let me do.
When he first asked if he could play, I said no. And I didn't let him play football until he was a 9th grader in junior high, which probably was a good decision, but he's more than proved to me that he's capable of doing anything that he wants to do. I'm still very nervous. I'm afraid that he'll be injured, but that's not a concern, so I'm very, very proud.
Kelly has carried on like any other student athlete at Weber High School. In fact, very few consider him handicapped, and Kelly wouldn't have it any other way.
Never really thought about it. I didn't think it was any big deal to me. It's been part of me, so I never thought it was anything special or anything.
He's very sensitive, although sometimes he doesn't come across that way. But he's always enthusiastic about things, and he's always loved sports. He's always wanted to play sports. And I don't think it's ever really occurred to him that he couldn't do just whatever he wanted to do.
He says it's no different. He said, I get up in the morning, I put on my leg. You get up in the morning, you put on your shoes. So to him, there's really no other way of life.
The first time I knew about Kelly was I was over watching the junior high schools play when he was a 9th grader, and I noticed him then, and I was hoping that he would come and play because he was a pretty good junior high school ball player. And when he first came over and started lifting with us in our summer conditioning, I was pleased. I didn't have any reservations.
After Kelly adds additional padding to his leg and tapes it up, it's nearly impossible to tell him apart from any other 6'2", 235-pound lineman. However, going easy on Kelly can be costly.
You better not pull up on Kelly. You're going to get hurt. No, he's, like I said, he's no different. He's no different than anybody else.
Kelly has proven his athletic skills on the field, playing on both the offensive and defensive lines for the junior varsity, as well as playing on the varsity. He's also on Weber High's baseball team, manning first base. But it's a non-athletic trait that catches most people's attention.
He probably has one of the best sense of humors on our football team. We were at the Weber State camp this summer, and he had the coaches rolling the whole camp up there. He puts Woody for his name tag on his hat, and the coaches at the end of the first day, they come and say, hey, Woody's a pretty good football player. So I don't have a kid named Woody. Next morning, I saw Kelly had Woody on his helmet, so great sense of humor.
Got too tight?
Cut off circulation? And you bought it too, didn't you?
Oh, we did. Is that okay, Kelly?
From Kelly Bartlett's perspective, the future is bright, and those around him have learned by experience not to set limits on what he can accomplish.
I'd love to play college sports, either football or baseball, whichever, If not, I'd want to get a degree and I want to be like a sports trainer, a therapist, or something like that, stay in the sports field.
I still don't know if he's going to wind up playing for Rick Neuheisel, but I wouldn't bet against her right now, so.
Well, there you have it. The Weber Warriors pick up another victory, this time 27-14. But for Kelly Bartlett, every day he's able to suit up. That's a huge victory. Reporting from Utah for SSA, I'm Todd Harris.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Now we've moved on to the Satellite Theater. This is an exhibit of the Earth's vital signs. We're learning so much here today. Hope you enjoyed that last story, a very inspirational one. We've got to take a short break. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to SSA. Remember our premiere show when we told you about Penn High School from Mishawaka, Indiana? They were the team with the incredible 89-game regular season winning streak. They traveled to Indianapolis last weekend to meet perennial powerhouse Ben Davis. The Giants' 24-0 victory ended Penn's decade of dominance.
We've moved on to the ABCs, as in ABSEAS, a traveling exhibit here at Nauticus until the end of December. And while I'm pulling on these block and tackles here, why don't you take a look at our next story? It's about a group of football players in San Diego that could be called the Fab Five.
You've heard of the Fab Five from Michigan. Well, meet the Fab Five from San Diego. Different sport, but same idea. 5 seniors from Castle Park High School who have played football together ever since the 7th grade.
It just feels like family out here. I love it. I love coming out here like every day after. You know, people always complaining about, oh, going to practice on other schools and stuff, but it's like something I look forward to the end of my day.
So who are the Fab Five and what makes them so good? First, all-league quarterback Gabe Lujan. He's noted for his composure on the field.
He understands the offense. He knows what to look for, and he doesn't get flustered. You know, he's very mature. He's a coach out there on the field.
The coaches have just shown me that, hey, have fun out there, stay relaxed, be calm, and the best will come out of everything.
Zeke Moreno, at 6'3", 235 pounds, this linebacker is compared to Junior Seau.
Well, I think it's great that people compare me to Junior Seau about our size and our speed-wise. I mean, he's a role model to me. I look up to him. But hopefully, in the future, I could become a great athlete just like he did.
Lineman Jerome Haywood, winner of the Co-Defensive Player of the Year award, stands out as a leader. 6'3", 245-pound Brandon Henderson plays on the offensive line. He's a dominant force and was the best blocker for the team last year. Rounding out the Fab Five is linebacker E.J. Broom, who directs traffic out on the field and has great range in his playmaking abilities. All 5 members of this group were moved up to the varsity level together during their sophomore year. And it was at that point that this quintet officially came to be.
I said, let me have the 5 guys, those fabulous guys over here. And they go, okay, the Fab Five, let's see you. So that's basically how it got going. It was just sort of an accident.
Recruiters have been buzzing about each one of the famous 5 for a long time now. Colleges among the likes of USC, Ohio State, and San Diego State are seeking these talented young stars. They may not all go to the same school, and chances are it won't be Michigan, but they'll carry the name and the tradition of the Fab Five into the future wherever they go.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our tour of the Nauticus Museum. I could have spent 2 weeks in that place, but unfortunately we are out of time. We closed the show from the Norfolk Bay, and yes, it is still very windy out here. Take a look at our next show. It will be Monday, October 28th at 3:30 Eastern Time. So for now, I'm Melissa Stark saying, see you later.
ESPN presents the Youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America. SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Like I said, always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Melissa Stark, and we've come to Atlanta this week, and actually to the home of one of our sponsors, the world of Coca-Cola. And Coke has been around forever, it seems. From the old to the young, everybody knows Coke. It's nothing new. But today, we are going to introduce you to something new. Here's a sport that you wouldn't expect to find in most high schools.
Spirit of the soul. Friendship, as in unconditional. Community, working together. Respect, as in mutual. Responsibility for your life. Progressive, in nature. Freedom of thought, of the individual.
Basically, it's about freedom and intellectual thinking, and I think basically what Paideia teaches you is how to think for yourself, form your own opinions, and kind of like back them up, and you know, just be your own person, kind of.
It's all based on spirit. There's no real. Ultimate's like more of a bonding together thing, and I mean, you just get along and know everybody, even your opponents.
The sport and the school seem to be made for each other. Ultimate originated in 1968. Paideia started in 1971 with only 125 students. Ultimate has no referees and demands sportsmanship. Paideia teaches students while affording them respect and freedom, rarely found in other schools. Ultimate and Paideia, you could say each has flourished from playing by its own set of rules.
You got 7 players on a field for each team. So, you know, I'll have 7 and Emery will have 7. It's kind of like football in the idea that you want to pass the disc down the field without dropping it. But as soon as you drop, it's a turnover, and the other team gets to try and throw it back down the field for a score.
Paideia was founded 25 years ago by a group of parents in Atlanta who wanted a different kind, a more creative, individualized education for their children.
You catch the disc, you have to stop within 3 steps, or it's a travel, and you catch the disc, and you have to then advance it to another player through a throw.
Part of the school philosophy, of course, is to, as I said, cherish the individual and trust the individual and respect the individual. That is the individual teacher or the individual student.
You receive the disc and your offense tries to spread out and spread the field lengthwise. You try to complete passes all the way down. And when you do complete one in the end zone, then it's a goal for your team. And then the process just starts over again.
Pauline and Moses are representative of the Paideia spirit on and off the ultimate field. Pauline is the only female starter. A pioneer? A trailblazer? Nah, just one of many on this team.
In Ultimate, it's more of like a community, and like I'm friends with 30-year-olds who act exactly my age, which is really fun. And it's just, I mean, it's a whole different feel to the sport than any other one, so that's why I've stuck to it.
Moses is into chemistry. During our visit, he showed us his latest experiment.
And chlorine is extremely electrophilic, which means that it desires to gain 1 electron, which is why it combines so readily with acetylene. So when I drop this calcium carbide in there, you will see acetylene produced, at which point there will be little explosions when the bubbles hit. So here we go.
They could be learning weaving, I would say, ceramics or something, and then also be learning about quantum physics. And I mean, it's really a very progressive educational experience.
Michael Baccarini coached Paideia to 3rd place at the Amherst Invitational last year, which invites the best high school teams in the country. Paideia was the only team from outside the Northeast.
Many of you probably grew up playing Pop Warner or Little League softball, but if you had gone to Paideia, you would have had the chance to learn ultimate frisbee, which they start teaching in grade school. And now it's your turn to learn some tips from these pros.
There's three necessary throws. One of which, the first of which is the backhand. It's just a backhand. I mean, the object of all the throws is to put a lot of spin on them. You'll want the hammer throw. The hammer throw is a overhand. It's just basically when you can't throw the flick or the backhand, you want the hammer throw. There's also another throw similar. It's an upside down throw. It's called a thumber, and you just put your thumb like that and throw it. And it's a lower throw. It's a quick throw. It's similar to hammer throw, but it's just if you can't get that one off, just put that one up, and it's a lot like that.
We don't have any high school teams to play down here, so we play colleges. So it's certainly a big challenge. All these kids are much more physically developed. But some of our kids have been playing for 3 and 4 years, so they've got good skill.
Yeah, Nikki. Put something on it, Nikki. Harp, take your time. You got a timeout.
We don't have a football team because we're not a traditional school, and we don't have cheerleaders or anything.
Go team!
Harper finds Jason for a long score to tie the game at 12-all. First to 15 wins. Paideia wins, not unexpected despite the age difference. They earn a handshake and a cheer, ultimate style.
You beat us once, and you did it again, and this time you did it on ESPN.
Congratulations, Paideia High School, taking ultimate to a new level. Well, this is our first stop in the world of Coca-Cola. This is the bottling fantasy, and it's actually a reproduction, because in today's modern assembly lines, they produce 1,000 bottles and 2,000 cans a second. We've got to take a short break, but stick around because coming up on SSA, we'll feature a school in Florida that is an athletic powerhouse in all sports, and 3 special female athletes from volleyball, swimming, and soccer. Stick around. We'll be right back with more SSA after this. Welcome back to the show, everyone. In the early 1900s, Coca-Cola made a variety of bottles for each different region of the country. Can you imagine how long that took? Well, I've got a question for you. How many high school programs can boast of nearly 50 state championships, a slew of former athletes now in pro sports, and literally dozens of former Olympians? Well, there's a school in Florida that can claim all of that and more. Mike Tank has the story.
Take a look at this pool. Take a good look. More than likely, you're looking at future Olympians at practice.
The atmosphere here is just outstanding. I mean, you don't find any other team in the country that has so many foreign athletes, all wanting to go to the Olympics.
U.S. Olympic gold medalist Ashley Whitney is just one of the 21 international and American swimmers from the 1996 Olympics, produced by the Bowles School in Jacksonville, Florida. This private school is a hotbed for producing great athletes and championships. Just listing the athletic accomplishments can take longer than a Coach Greg Troy swimming practice. But here are some of the highlights. 45 state championships in 10 sports, former students in professional sports, and Olympic swimming champions from all over the world. That kind of tradition is what attracted Elvin Chia to Bowles. The senior swam in the Olympics for his home country of Malaysia.
I heard from Bowles that they're real good, so they just sent me over because they heard that a lot of great swimmer, so they decided to send me over here.
Success seems to breed success at Bowles, and each year athletic programs like swimming keep the winning tradition alive.
Each team has enjoyed a great deal of success over the years, and each team that follows wants to do very well.
That's true of every sport at Bowles, and the drive to succeed also happens in the classroom. In fact, the 85 students on the varsity swimming team have a team GPA of 3.1.
We expect an awful lot of the kids, and because of the success of the program, they expect an awful lot of themselves. So there's real high expectations. They set high goals, and they work real hard towards it.
14-year-old Morgan Perry hopes the 5:30 a.m. workouts help fulfill her Olympic-sized dreams.
It's a great program. We have like 19 Olympians go to the Olympics every 4 years, so I mean, hopefully I'll have a chance someday. So I mean, I'm just here to practice hard.
Swimmers aren't the only students practicing hard and getting championship results. For instance, the Bulls football team is, well, it's more than successful. It's downright dominating. Get this, 4 state championships in the last 9 years. It's no wonder this program is regarded as one of the best in the country.
We just work harder than others, and it's not like, we have a certain different program than everybody else. We just work hard at what we do.
And just like the swimming program, head coach Corky Rogers makes sure that work ethic and discipline carries over to the classroom and to life.
Bowles is tough academics. It's tough to, maintain grades and go to practice. But, we find a way to balance it. And all of our players on our team are good scholastically and academically.
It helps me with my character. I mean, if I was at a public school, I might be getting in trouble and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, this really helped me out a lot.
Championship teams, championship athletes. You'd think there might be a tendency to be satisfied, but that's not the case at Bowles.
I don't hold any world records or anything, so I consider myself, I don't think I'm special or anything, and until you hold the world record, I don't think you can stop, trying to be the best.
It's that kind of attitude which will continue to produce champions on and off the field, court, track, or pool at Bowles. In Jacksonville, Florida, I'm Mike Tank for SSA.
So of all the existing bottles in the early 1900s, they had a contest, and this one right here won. But you'll notice it was actually too large to fit in this compression, this mold right here, and so this bottle right here is the one that we've ended up with throughout the 1900s. Thanks, Tank, for that story. Now that's what I call a winning program. In fact, Bowles has been ranked amongst the top of the USA Today rankings all year, and here's a look at the current rankings. Don't forget to look in Tuesday's edition of the USA Today for the top 25 rankings. We'll be right back with more SSA from Atlanta right after this. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is a 1930s replica of a soda fountain shop. And this is James here, our server. Say hi.
Hi.
James, how much would it cost me if I wanted to get a ham sandwich and, say, a Coca-Cola?
15 cents.
15 cents. Wow, that's a great bargain. Now, if we went to the 1990s, how much would it cost?
$3.85.
Wow, big difference. All right, it's time to move on in our show to take a look at our honor roll. A great volleyball player. John Moody has the story.
Thanks, Melissa. As you know, there are few guarantees in life, but if you ever get a chance to see the Rockets of Assumption High play girls volleyball, well, yes, you can count on a few things. First, you'll see arguably one of the best teams in the country go at it. Number two, you'll get to be part of a large crowd of at least 300 that seem to make it to every home and away game. And lastly, you'll get to see the best outside hitter in the state of Kentucky, Sarah Pomeroy.
Say hi to my family and thank you for supporting me all the way through and pushing me to go further in what I do with everything, school, riding, volleyball.
It's the second thing you recognize about Sarah after seeing her talent on the floor, her humility. On a team that won the Kentucky State title and girls high school national championship, Sarah Pomeroy has become noticed, whether she wants to be or not.
I don't really compare myself to others. I don't think I play as a part of a team, and I play as that is my role on the team, and that together is what's made us nationally ranked and all that. It's not one person.
Sarah Palmer is an outstanding player. She came to us as a freshman and she was a middle hitter then, and she completely dominated the game.
Sarah's lucky in that she plays the whole game. I mean, she can hit the ball, and even though she's big, she moves pretty well, and she can pass the ball and even sets a little bit. So I think her strength is just her overall game.
Her focus is on her academics. She has a 3.9 grade average. Volleyball, she will have her choice of schools next year when she's a senior. And then equestrian, a sport she learned when she was just 7 years of age.
Well, when I was like in first and second grade, my babysitter came to my house and she rode, and I thought it'd be a cool idea to go out to the barn with her one day. So went out there and realized how neat it was being outside with animals.
Both sports require a lot of discipline. You know, when you're playing volleyball, things are moving a lot quicker, but you have to play your position.
Against Notre Dame High, with the state and national title on the line, Miss Pomeroy put her humility aside.
I don't think we've seen the limit to Sarah Pomeroy. I think she's even got the potential to be a setter in college if she wants to be. She's got a great set of hands, and like I said, there's just no limit to it. It's just filled with athletic ability.
She has the talent, and now a national championship. From the shadows to being a team leader, the future is bright for Sarah Pomeroy.
This week's Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
They're putting me to work here. I didn't really know I was in store for this. Thanks, John, for that story. You know, I don't know how much 20 grand could buy you in Coca-Cola these days, but it would probably get you a lot of drinks. And that's how much SSA has to give away in scholarships. If you're a senior in the class of 1997 and you need some cash for college, if you're a good athlete and excel in academics, either call your local cable operator or write us at SSA Scholarships, P.O. Box 986. That's in Bristol, Connecticut. The zip code is 06011. We've got to take a short break, and I've got to help my customers. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the world of Coca-Cola here in Atlanta. That number is $5,053 billion and some odd numbers for all you math wizards out there. And that's the number of Coca-Cola products that have been sold since its inception in 1886. That number is increasing by 9,650 every second. I'd say they're on quite a roll. And here's a young lady who has quite a streak herself, Shaira Holler. She's our hometown hero, and John Linder has the story.
Fort Walton Beach native Shaira Holler has emerged as one of Florida's most dominating swimmers. From the moment she leaves the blocks, her presence is felt as she tears through the water, leaving opponents in her wake. This 17-year-old Wonder Girl hasn't lost a race in 2 years.
You think that you're the best. You have to think that you're the fastest and that you're going to win, because it's basically a mind game. And if you think that you're going to win, you normally will.
Her resume got a facelift in last year's state championships, first in the 100 butterfly, third in the 200 individual medley, and a pair of sixth-place finishes with 2 different relay teams.
It makes us feel good that we have such a great swimmer on our team. She's not just a great swimmer, she's like a leader, and she's a friend to everybody. It's exciting because you know that it's going to be a good race no matter who she swims against. But, you know, and, like, there's some races where she's really close to people, and it gets down, like, really exciting, and everybody's there just cheering her on, and you have a lot of excitement going through you.
For the last 11 years, this swimming pool has been like a second home to Shaira. All of those grueling practices at 5 in the morning and a 2-hour set in the afternoon. It's a workload that's involved a lot of sacrifice, and it hasn't gone unnoticed.
There may be a time when you may want to go to a party or a ball game or even a prom, but you're looking at Southeasterns, championships, JOs, things like that, and sometimes you have to make sacrifices. She's willing to do that, and that sets a great example for all the other kids to follow.
I go through high school cruising through, and I mean, not to say that I've won every single race, but basically I have nobody that's outright beating me. If I go to college and I'm a freshman, then there's going to be seniors that can beat me, and it'll be good for me.
For Scholastic Sports America, I'm John Linder.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Thanks, John, and hopefully we'll see Shaira in the Olympics in 4 years in Sydney, Australia. Speaking of the Olympics, of course, Coke is an official sponsor of the Games and has been for every Olympic Games since 1928 in Amsterdam. We've got to take a short break, but we'll be right back with more SSA after this. Welcome back to Atlanta, everyone. Did you know that Santa Claus used to be depicted as such things as an elf or a gnome? And it wasn't until 1931 that Coke gave us the standardized depiction of Santa Claus as we know him today, a big, jolly, fat man with a white beard and a red coat. Up next in the show, Brad Hoken fills us in on Syd Lolly, a star in her own right.
For Syd Lolly, the opportunity to compete was all she could dream of. Raised in a highly athletic family, this junior from Thornton High School in Harvey, Illinois, wanted to play soccer. The only problem? There was no girls' team. The easy solution? Go out for the boys' team.
All my life I played with my brothers and on their soccer team, so I was already really used to playing with the guys. So, I mean, I played on girls' teams, but not as much as I played on the guys' team, so I was really already experienced with them. I mean, so I just played on the boys' soccer team.
She's a girl, but she plays with ability of a guy. That's what we're happy to have her on the team, because she can do everything just the same as we can.
I had heard from her cousins at Bloom Trail, where I had coached the girls, that she had every intention of coming out for the boys' team. So I figured, well, okay, if I'm given the chance to coach a boys' team, I'll give a girl a chance to be on it.
And on it she has been. Playing every minute of every game over the past 2 years, Syd Lolly has established herself as one of the top midfielders in her league, an achievement solidified with her recent all-conference selection.
I didn't really expect to get any recognition because, I mean, the guys are supposed to get all the recognition, not the girls, especially if you're playing on a boys' team and everything, so I really didn't expect to get any recognition out of it.
She gets shoved and pushed around, and she does her share, too. She's a great passer, and she supports the team. She's got great field vision. She sets up plays. So mentally, she's in the team as well, and in the game.
For Syd Lolly, competition, well, it's nothing new. You see, she has 4 brothers and has been competing with them both on the soccer field and the cross-country course her entire life. As you guessed it, in the classroom, she's also doing a great job, ranking 25 in a class of 600 with a 3.5 grade point average. As for her future, hey, she wants to be a big-time lawyer when she goes to college.
I always look at my school first before I go to sports, because I think if you go to school, then you can become successful, and I can always have soccer as something like to hang back on. But I mean, school is first. It's always going to be first, no matter what.
Her mother may have had a premonition when she named her only daughter Syd Lolly. It means star in Indian.
I'm determined to I want to be good, I want everybody to know who I am, because I don't want to just be like one person, like just do good in one thing and not get recognized for anything else. I want to do good in school. I want to do good in everything I do. That's why I always try my hardest for everything I do.
For Scholastic Sports America, I'm Brad Hoken.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you learned a lot here at the World of Coca-Cola. Definitely an interesting place. Our next show is actually a special time. It's a Tuesday, December 17th at 3:30 Eastern Time. And we'll take a look at one of high school's best linebacker-fullback combinations, Chad Simmers, who groomed his skills in football-crazy Texas, but now calls Fargo, North Dakota home. I'm Melissa Stark, and I'll see you next week on another edition of SSA.
Why'd you bring it?
Go Mume. YMCA.
Go.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Fucking exhibition.
the worldwide leader in sports, presents the youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Scholastic Sports America. I'm Melissa Stark. We're bringing you the show this week from what is normally very sunny and beautiful Southern California. But just our luck, it is overcast today, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to take you on a tour of Santa Monica. We've got the pier right here behind us. But first, we go to Fargo, North Dakota, of all places. I think it's about 60 degrees colder there than it is here. John Moody has our cover story.
Thanks, Melissa. Let me present a question to you. Say you're one of the best linebackers down in the Houston area in Texas, and it's the spring of your junior season. You're going to be recruited by many of the top schools in the nation going into your senior year. But one day your dad comes home from work and he says, "Son, we're moving to Fargo." That's North Dakota, where I am. What do you do? What do you say? That's the question Chad Simmers, now of Fargo South High, had to answer just a few months ago.
My approach was to Chad mainly. He had the most at risk and the most on the line. And I said, if you don't want to do this, I'm not going to move you.
Lived down there for 6 years, the longest I've lived in one place. So, you know, it was hard leaving for my senior year. I had a bunch of friends through high school.
There's some quality players in the Houston area. I think as you look around the country, it's a quality area. I'd put him in the top 5 in Houston.
Just made the decision, you know, it was tough leaving for my senior year, but I had to consider all the family, so I came up here this is the best for the family.
Tall buildings were replaced with farmland, and November weather went from balmy to bitter.
Low temperature this morning in Houston was well above normal at 62. The normal low would be 49. Our high this afternoon, 79. The normal high would be 72. And expect tomorrow to get even further above normal. We may set a record high tomorrow.
Good evening. I have some good news. It's actually going to be above zero probably when you get up tomorrow morning. Things are going to be on the rise. Today, definitely deep freeze stuff. The high was 3 below this afternoon. The morning low temperature at minus 19. Officially, that is a record for the date, breaking the old record of minus 16 set back in 1985.
Houston is nothing like this. I mean, we got down to 40. Everybody was scared down in Texas. Now we're out here in about a wind chill about 0. It's about maybe 30 out. And, you know, people just don't care. This is what they're used to up here.
High school football was played to sold-out stadiums, where Friday nights are revered as sacred.
But it is Friday night in Texas, and that means high school football rules. Let's check in on tonight's action. Tim Melton's in the sports office. Tim.
All right, Bob, we're going to start tonight at Rice Stadium with a high school game.
Different atmosphere than it is up here. You have the band, the school band there, and you got a lot of the crowd, a lot of the kids from school there, so it's a lot louder, bigger stadiums, and it just adds to the excitement.
It was a big concern. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about it, worrying if the boys were going to make the adjustment, if they were going to be okay, if they were going to be happy, and as it turned out, it was great.
Dad decided to return the family to his home state, North Dakota, where Chad had lived until he was 4 years of age, where over 15 family members still live. A high school and college coach for 20 years, Pat Simmers jumped at the chance to join the corporate business world in Fargo. A chance to change careers was important, but it always took a back seat to doing what was best for Mom.
She was diagnosed with MS 17 years ago, and we've been very fortunate. We had, of those 17 years, 15 of them were real good. The last couple, she's deteriorated a little bit, and this opportunity gave me the chance to get her out of the workforce and let her stay at home and take care of herself.
My mom, I consider her as the coach. She, you know, she's there to help us, encourage us, push us on. She's every day in game day, she's firing us up, and it's a great relationship.
And with the knowledge that recruiters pledged not to give up on him in Fargo, Chad went out and had his best season ever.
We're playing on both sides of the ball and happy with him in both places. And anybody who needs a good linebacker, he's going to play for him. Anybody needs a good running back, he's going to play for him.
Whether it's been in Houston, Texas, or Fargo, North Dakota, it's always been here on the football field that Chad Simmers has felt most at home. It's been that way since he was just a little kid. He hopes to keep it that way for some time to come.
There's been young people in the past with less athletic ability and less potential. One of his greatest assets is his intangibles, and I know he's going to be as good as he can be. And if everything falls right, it's a great opportunity.
The football field is just a place where you just let everything go. Your mind just settles down. You just got to focus in on the game and let everything go. And the intensity's there, the adrenaline's flowing, and it's an unbelievable feeling.
That unbelievable feeling was obvious in the state final against Grand Forks Central.
One record. Simmers up the middle into the secondary. It is a foot race. Simmers and Fetch and Mask are chasing him. Mask finally trips him up, but not until he gets to the Grand Forks Central 9-yard line. The give is to Mask. Simmers with the tackle.
Chad earned Most Valuable Player honors and led Fargo South to a 23-13 victory. He was also named Most Valuable Player in the state of North Dakota. A happy ending to this chapter of the Chad Simmers football journey, indeed.
Yes, the Bruins and Chad Simmers are number 1.
I was born here in North Dakota. We moved in '83. I was about 4 years old. Moved then to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Lived there for about 2 years, and then from there we went to Madison, Wisconsin for 4, and then Texas, we were there for 6.
The Odyssey has ended, and all 3 boys have come through with flying colors. Chris starts at North Dakota State University and maintains an A average. Ryan is a sophomore at Fargo South. He brought home a 4.0 last quarter, and Chad clocked in with a 3.87. His mark has been left on Fargo, yet soon he will leave for a shot at big-time college football. Yes, moving on once again, but he's used to it. There is no fear of the future when your last name is Simmers.
Thanks, Moonman. John told me that Chad, as much as he loves Fargo, North Dakota, he's still undecided, but will probably head somewhere south, somewhere warm for college. Well, this is kind of a closer look down here at the pier, and a whole host of shows and movies have been filmed down here. Pacific Blue, Star Trek, Baywatch, and The Lost Boys. We got to take a short break, but we'll be right back after this.
SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Welcome back to Santa Monica, California, everybody. It is not a pretty day here, not a pretty day at all, and people cannot go swimming, so they have to find other things to do, say build sandcastles. Well, you may remember back in 1993 when we featured Josh Booty, a 2-sport athlete in football and baseball. Well, now Josh's brother, Abram, is following in his footsteps, and he is kicking booty, if you know what I mean.
I was going to get a chance to catch the ball, and I actually dropped the first one. And I thought I'd missed my chance in being a part of that with Josh. But ended up, came back around about 3 or 4 plays later where I did get to catch about a 10-yard pass and turned it up for about 6 or 7 more yards, which I needed to break that record, and it was special sharing it with him.
Abram and Josh Booty of Evangel Christian Academy in Shreveport, Louisiana, currently hold 4 national high school records. Abram has the mark for career TD catches with 77. Also, he owns the career receiving yardage record with 5,353 yards. He has 12 catches from the career reception mark. Older brother Josh, who played from 1990 to 93, still owns 2 national passing records.
And I played alongside 3 senior wide receivers that I got to catch a touchdown pass in the championship game and see Josh win the most valuable player.
The 93 championship will always be special to all of us because it was our first. And the next year, he was the man in the dome for us as a sophomore, and again was the MVP like his brother the year before. So it was a storybook type situation for us, and it's just been the whole thing has been an absolute miracle of God for us.
John Booty, Abram and Josh's father, played quarterback behind Terry Bradshaw and Joe Ferguson at Woodlawn High School. Denny Duron, Evangel's offensive coordinator, explains his sacrifice.
John was a great quarterback and could have played in the NFL for as long as he wanted to play. He gave that dream up to go into the ministry. And we really feel that around here, there's something sovereign going on with God rewarding him for having made the sacrifice he made by blessing his boys with this tremendous ability.
This is a real close team, and we take pride in that. We take pride in being close and being a brotherhood. And every Friday night we go out there with that dream on our mind of going 15-0, and we're not going to come up short this year.
I think it's, it's a big factor, especially for, like you said, the seniors. Just to share that the last year of your life in high school, probably the funnest time of your life, and to go out being a champion, that's very important.
Going out a champion and sharing it with family and friends. Just another achievable goal for Abram Booty, Evangel's next All-American. For Scholastic Sports America, I'm Paul Atkinson.
All right, what's your name?
Joe.
Joe. What are you fishing for?
Just enjoy my life.
Just enjoying your life. Come on, what are you fishing for, Joe? Give me an answer.
I told you for Marlin.
Marlin, that's a good answer. What a coincidence, because Josh decided to play baseball and he had his first major league hit with the Florida Marlins. We've got to take a short break, but take a look at the top 10 USA Today football rankings, and don't forget to look in Tuesday's edition, as always, for the top 25 rankings. We'll be right back with more SSA from Santa Monica after this. Welcome back to SSA. This week's Honor Roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
This is Danica Hardy. Spelling?
D-A-N-I-C-A.
Danica, a unique name for someone who has pulled off a unique streak.
You can have a bad day anywhere or play some top-flight people, which she has, and she has beaten everybody decisively through all 4 years. We've had some quality people in the Northern League, but she has stood above everybody head and shoulders.
Danica has just finished her 4th year on the varsity tennis team at Rigetti High School. During her 4 years, she has never lost a set in league play.
I don't even really pay attention to it. I think people make a bigger deal out of it than it really is. And they're just sets to me. They come one at a time, and I just happen to be winning them.
Her final league record is 162-0.
She's developed her game quite a lot, over the last 3 years too. She used to play, mostly for the baseline and stuff like that, and now she's kind of picked up. She's working in a lot of serve and volley. She's coming to the net and playing a lot. But I think the biggest thing for her is her consistency and accuracy. She's able to pinpoint the ball and put it exactly where she wants it, and she keeps her opponents, right at the back fence all the time.
I know even in her freshman year and playing for the league championship against some quality people, she was like a babyface assassin. I mean, she was just hitting the corners, just unbelievable. And she was a talent from the get-go, and she's got better and better and better as the years have gone on.
With preseason and playoff matches, Danica's overall record is somewhere around 250-8.
It's like winning the lottery. We knew that she was quite a talent, and basically what we did is we issued her a uniform and went from there.
The next stop for Danica is Lincoln, Nebraska, where she has accepted a full scholarship to compete with the Cornhuskers.
And it's a really tough conference. There's a lot of good colleges in that, and I think Nebraska's a good team, and I have a feeling that I'll be doing pretty good. It'll just be like the high school tennis, except just a couple notches better, and it'll be really neat.
And it will be neat to see if Danica can keep up her league domination. For Scholastic Sports America, I'm John Howard.
Okay, now it is time for my regular spiel. If you are a senior in the class of 1997 and you need some cash for college, SSA has $20,000 to give away. Write us at SSA Scholarships, P.O. Box 986. It's in Bristol, Connecticut. The zip code is 06011. Write us. We want to hear from you. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Figured I was out on the beach, may as well get a little exercise while I'm out here. Got a little iron cross action going. My arms are getting tired, so I got to hurry this one up. Our next story, she's a soccer player, Jamie Thiel, and she is from Clearwater, Florida.
Kicking has always come naturally to Jamie Thiel, but not on a football field. That is until this year. The Countryside Cougars needed a place kicker, and Jamie, well, she needed a challenge.
But it comes down to, in real games, can she handle it? And that was kind of a question she really has. I'm really proud of her. She's really a good kicker, and girl, guy, whatever she is, she's a good kicker.
I mean, she kicks off consistently inside the 10-yard line, has probably about 35, 40-yard range field goals. She's one of the best kickers I've ever coached.
What makes Jamie Thiel such a special athlete isn't so much that she plays football, it's how well she does at whatever sport she plays. As a matter of fact, right here on the soccer field is where she excels the most.
She's just a natural athlete. I mean, she's gifted talent-wise. Even in, like I said, she's a track athlete too. I joke around to her about everybody trying to overcoach her all the time. You know, if you tell her too many things to do in her head and get her thinking, you're gonna hurt her. But you know, when she started first kicking a football, I just said, you've been kicking a soccer ball since you were 6 years old. Just go kick the ball and quit thinking about what you're doing. So just her natural ability is probably her best gift.
As a sophomore, Jamie's 34 goals last season led the Countryside girls soccer team to the state Final Four. As a junior this year, she's helped the Cougars football team to its first ever playoff appearance.
I'm planning to play any sport that gives me money to go away to college, but I would love to play soccer in college. I'd love to get a scholarship, go to a really good school. Playing soccer for me is a lot more competitive because I've been playing since I was like 5 years old. I've been playing that forever. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't, just because I'm just trying to do my personal best. I'm not trying to compete against anyone else because I know there's other guys out there that probably kick a lot better than I can.
In football, it's what comes from competing.
Probably being able to say to all the girls I get to hang out with 45 guys about every day of the week. No, you get a lot of respect.
I think they all respect her as an athlete and the ability she has, and also she's got some savvy, you know, a little fire in her, and the things that it takes to be a good athlete, and they all respect that.
A lot of people know that I'm not doing this for the glory or anything. I'm doing it just because they needed somebody, and that's the only reason I'm doing it. So it's just kind of the respect you get from people, and I mean, they understand what I'm going through, having to do all this.
And not only does Jamie Thiel do it all, she does it all very well. Reporting for SSA, I'm Rich Hollander.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
Congratulations, Jamie. I like seeing that. Girls out on the football field, out on the soccer field, doing it all. Nice job. Well, I can honestly say that I've never seen LA look like this in all my time being here. It's never rained. It's more like Seattle than Santa Monica. But we're about 3 blocks now from the pier. We're at the 3rd Street Promenade, and there's a lot going on here. Rain or shine, people are out strolling along, restaurants. There's even dinosaurs. I think that's what it is. We'll be right back with more SSA after this. Welcome back to 3rd Street Promenade here in Santa Monica, California, everybody. Up next, we have an inspirational story. A very courageous young man, Daniel Huffman, literally gave the gift of life to his grandmother. Brad Hogan traveled to Rossville, Illinois for the story.
Imagine if you had to make the decision to give up something you love so much for someone you love so much.
I just love the sport of football. I mean, I'm interested in other sports, and I've always liked to go out and play around with other sports, but football was the only sport that I just loved.
That was Daniel Huffman, and football was his passion. He played for Rossville High School in the small town of Rossville, Illinois, smack dab in middle America, with just over 1,400 people.
He was amazing on the football field. I mean, he had the heart and desire. He had more heart than anybody on this football team. And if we had the heart he did, I mean, we could have won state championship 4 years in a row, guaranteed.
He was our cheerleader. He was, Mr. Positivity. I mean, he was always looking for the best out of everything. When things were down, Dan was always, trying to do things to get kids, cheer up a little bit and play hard.
I played offensive and defensive tackle, and I was one of those guys that just, like I said, got fired up and loved to get rowdy before a game. I'd run yelling, screaming in the locker room, trying to get everyone mad and ready to hit someone as hard as I could.
Daniel's life looks like a Norman Rockwell painting. A great football player, an A student, a class vice president, and a kid who was liked by everybody. But if you take a closer look, you'll see his grandmother, not his mother, in the picture. You see, when he was 4, Daniel's parents got divorced, and his mother made the heart-wrenching decision to leave her son and let Daniel live with his grandparents, the Allisons. Their life would provide a better environment for Daniel than she could in southern Florida. Surely, Daniel's 60-year-old grandmother became everything to Daniel. So when she began suffering from life-threatening kidney failure from complications due to diabetes, it tore Daniel up.
A year ago, she went on dialysis because her kidneys were failing, and I watched her get progressively worse on dialysis. We didn't know how long it was going to take, but eventually it was going to do her in.
What I was afraid of was I would get so weak they wouldn't even consider me for surgery. That's when we started talking serious.
Daniel was faced with a decision. He could donate one of his kidneys and save his grandmother's life, but he would have to give up his career in football forever.
I discussed it with my grandma, and finally, after a lot of hard work and talking to her, talked her into going to get tested, make sure that we were a match, and to do it. So after I talked to her about it and we'd made the decision, I went and talked to my coach. And that was kind of tough, telling him I wasn't going to be able to play my senior year.
I didn't accept it at first. He was too young and he has too much going for him. He told me all he'd read about it, and I was surprised at how much he knew about it, because I didn't know that much about it yet. So I was surprised and proud that he offered, but I was pretty sure the answer would be no.
At 6'2", 275, Daniel can be very persuasive. Upon his insistence, his grandmother Shirley finally agreed to accept one of her grandchild's kidneys and the life that goes along with it. The only objection left, that came from his mother Alice and her fear about the donation and what it would mean for his son's future.
At the time, it really bothered me. It hurt me a lot, and my eyes were kind of closed to the fact of why she was doing it. It was kind of hard for me to see that. It was just like she was in the way of what I wanted to do, and we got into some pretty good arguments about that. But now, since then, and after we talked a while, I understood her view of it and why she felt the way she did.
Despite the fact that Daniel couldn't play, he still helped out his former mates by rooting for the team from the sidelines. But his dreams of ever putting on the pads again were gone. That is until the final game of the year.
A friend of mine's got the pads I wore last year, so I asked him if I could put them back on. Well, I put them back on just to see how it felt, because I knew it was going to be our last game as seniors.
I was surprised he was even dressed out. I didn't know until we walked on the field that he'd gone in and put on some some equipment and stuff. But it didn't bother me. I thought that was pretty cool.
So I went out there and warmed up with him and just had a ball and went through the whole game just on the sidelines as normal.
I said, if I get a chance, I'm going to try to get you in the game.
There with about 26 seconds left, something around there, he sent me in the game, and just as I went out there, everyone went wild. It was the most awesome feeling in the world, just hearing everybody cheer and looking around and seeing everyone standing up and cheering. And I ran out there and my teammates were just all jumping up and shaking my hand, and they knew how happy it was and how happy of a moment it was for me. So that they went ahead and put me back there, and I raised my arms in a V because victory was the only thing I could think of, because that's got to be the best victory in the world. And my senior year, we win our final game and I get my final play on the field. I always knew in the back of my mind that I had made the right decision, that saving her life was a lot more important to me than my senior year of football.
Wow, what an unselfish gift. We wish Daniel and his grandmother the best of luck. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this show. Our next show is Monday, December 23rd at 3:30 Eastern Time. Tune in because we will feature Zachary Ty Bryan, who you may know as Brad Taylor from Home Improvement. He is not only a good actor, but he is a great soccer player. I'm Melissa Stark. So long from Santa Monica.
the worldwide leader in sports, presents the youth of America doing their best. This is Scholastic Sports America.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scholastic Sports America. I'm Melissa Stark, and I bet many of you are home for the holiday season, and we've actually come to a home that you may recognize. It is that of the Taylor family on ABC's Home Improvement. And we've got a really special show for you because we're going to be showing you the set, but we're also going to be showing you behind-the-scenes action of the number 6th ranked show in the country. And we're going to be going up close and personal with Zachary Ty Bryan, who you may know as Brad Taylor.
Hey, what's up? This is Zachary Ty Bryan. This is the front entrance to Walt Disney Studios. Come with me. I'm going to give you a good tour of the lot, home improvement, everything. Actually, I was like 9 years old, so I really didn't think about it. I remember walking in and we had a message. And my mom hit the button and it goes, message 1, right? And it goes, and it was my agent at the time. She goes, you know, we got you the show. It's just, you've just had an offer on home improvement and da-da-da. And I was like, you know, I didn't even know what home improvement was. I thought it was gonna be like a Bob Vila type show, because home improvement.
Zachary walked in, and here was this kid with a great smile and a lot of charisma, and we just enjoyed being around him. We said, you know what? Let's not have a 14-year-old. Let's just have 3 younger boys, and it'll just be a whirlwind of activity in the house.
Hey, Tim, look these. The dad's plans for when he remodeled the house. You're kidding. He's got to be 35 years old, Marty. Dad. That's an antique. Be careful with it. Randy, lift with your legs. Hey!
How does Brad compare to your actual personality? I mean, is this guy you?
I wouldn't say he's necessarily me. I would say we have a lot in common. In the show, Brad's very athletic, along with myself.
Dwight and I strive to keep a real balance in his life. That's why we keep him in soccer. We think it's really important. He's a tremendous athlete, as you can tell.
Definitely think soccer is great for me. I love soccer. It's a sport that I've always enjoyed, and I definitely, like, you know, right now, the Olympic Development Program, which prepares kids for the Olympics. Last year, I made the state team of California. I'll do whatever, you know. I don't think that'll ever come across. I think I'll always be able to choose, and I think I'll always be able to do both. So I'll just do both. Nobody says I can't. Hey, what's up? It's me again. You're gonna be seeing a lot of me. This is the Disney lot. This is pretty much where we work. This is the commissary. This is where we get our lunches and dinners and everything, all our food, great food. They just put a new one in. Over here we have the theater, which is where they play, I wouldn't say really premieres of movies, but they have, you know, little showings of new shows on the lot. On this lot we have Ellen, Homeboys from Outer Space, Home Improvement.
Everyone comes up to me and says, you know, oh, I've seen your son grow up on television, and it's definitely a weird feeling to know that he's not only my child, but a lot of other parents in the nation feel that he's, you know, in a weird way, their child too.
Mom, Dad!
Yeah, honey?
Jennifer Darcy wants to take me to her parents' anniversary party tomorrow night.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
First date, hot stuff.
It's not a date. Me and Jennifer are just gonna go to her country club and have dinner. I need to talk to you about that. I'm not so sure I can handle it.
Oh, what are you talking about? Sure you can.
Dad, it's really tough.
Yeah.
Thinking that maybe I should just quit.
Brad, your hair is so,
It's cool, isn't it? You know, I was gonna go with my usual 1/4 of an inch, but at the last second I decided to go for something just a bit different.
And you got it.
Being on a series or something like that in your formative years, you really have to have a strong family, a strong support group to keep you in line. Your ego and your id is being, you know, molded at this point. And if you're buying houses for your family, you know, there's got to be a really strong support system so that you don't go off the deep end when, you know, during the slow times, which there will be.
So Zach, do you ever realize that you're living like every kid's dream?
Yeah, I do think about it a lot. You know, I realize how fortunate I am. And, you know, I just got to take it moment by moment because I know it's not going to last forever, and I'm just going to enjoy every moment of it.
Who'd have thought a truck that big could go that fast?
I can't believe we have to spend part of our Christmas break helping Grandma move.
Ah, come on. What else would you guys be doing?
Hanging out with my girlfriend, going to parties,
Seeing all the new movies.
My favorite movie of all time? I really enjoyed Forrest Gump a lot. I thought that was a very good movie. I love ESPN. And my favorite, I love Chris Berman, I have to say.
Who doesn't?
I'm sorry. He brings pizzazz to the sports announcing.
I'm on the set all week, but at the same time I have to get 3 hours of school a day. So while I'm working on the set, like in between scenes that I'm not in,
He's off again.
they send me out here, I go to school, and then when they need me again, they have their little speaker here, and they call me back and say, get on stage.
Hey, this is where it all happens, stage 4, home improvement. This is where we film. Our schedule is usually Monday through Wednesday we rehearse, Thursday we camera block, and Friday is the day we tape, and Friday night we tape in front of a live audience. This is where it happens. Let's go in and check it out. Hello again, Zachary Ty Bryan here. I feel like a reporter, you know, I feel kind of cool. All right, here's where Wilson is. This is where Wilson does his thing. This is what they call a jimmy jib, actually. This is what they use when they have like real high shots looking down. Here's the house. You know, when I come in this front door, usually you'd think there'd be walls here, but actually there's an audience that's gonna be watching us. Out the front door, it's just like a drape. It just looks like a house when you look out. The stairs come exactly. Look at all the rooms up there. We got my room, Randy's room, Pat's room. It actually ends. This is the home improvement set. It's so fabulous, isn't it? I'm just a normal kid that has a job, just like any other kid that's, I would say, that's like asking, I would say, more of a kid that works at McDonald's, are you a normal kid? Of course he's a normal kid, he's just got a job, and I've got a job also, and I look at it as just, it's unfortunate that my job might get more publicity than his job, but we both work and we both pursue regular lives too.
You're only limited by your own mind, and if he feels limitless, then I think the opportunities are unlimited to him. I think he can definitely go on to be a great film actor and/or television actor, and also, you know, do a professional soccer career.
I love soccer. I also enjoy acting. I think I can pursue both careers. I mean, you know, I have tons of people that say, you know, it can happen, you know, it's not going to happen, but, you know, anything can happen.
Well, it looks like Zachary Ty Bryan has got it made. Between soccer and acting, this kid is doing it all. Now, this is the kitchen of home improvement, and normally you walk through the kitchen and you end up in the garage in most homes. In this one, sometimes it's the garage, sometimes it's tool time. And for tomorrow night's show, 9 o'clock on ABC, a special holiday show, it's Tim returns home to his mother's house. So tune in tomorrow night. We got to take a short break. We'll be right back with more SSA after this.
SSA is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We are on the Disney lot still, and I like Zach so much that I've invited him to hang out with me for the rest of the show.
Of course.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you do out here?
This is pretty much where we train with our trainers, Vicky and Angel. We play basketball, football, soccer, all different kinds of sports.
All right, and you really like football, don't you?
I love football.
Favorite team?
Denver Broncos, Terrell Davis, John Elway, Shannon Sharp.
Denver Broncos. All right, we're going to take a look at a really, really good football player, Corey Todd.
He is what you call self-made.
5'9", I weigh about 149, and I run the 40 in about 4.5. I mean, I know I'm small and everything. I just know I got to go out and just do my best and work.
He works harder than anybody else around him. It is the only way Corey Todd knows how. At Del Oro High in Loomis, California, he has overcome every obstacle placed in his way to become one of the best wide receivers in the state.
This is my 10th year of football. I've played Pop Warner, then I came to high school, and then it's just been like, that's been my whole career. I've gotten to do it all.
He's a great receiver. He's the kind of guy where I could throw the ball to him on a 5-yard stop and he'll catch it on the dime and turn, and the cornerback will be left in his tracks. His underwear will be sitting right there because he'll just go 90 yards for a touchdown right there because of his speed.
They have made each other look good this year. Number 12 is Randy Fasani, Corey's quarterback, who will play for Stanford next year. Few in America have a better arm. Corey gives Randy these, a pair of the best hands he may ever throw to.
To an extent, you're born with good hands, but I think you can definitely work on it a lot, just to a point of concentrating on the ball and not letting it smack you in the pads or let it fly by you, but really keeping your eye on the ball.
Corey, I'm told you're called the vacuum here at Del Oro. Why is that?
I just go out and catch the ball.
Well, he does catch just about everything that comes his way, partly because he's being thrown to by Randy Fasani, one of the best QBs in the country. But today your hands are going to get the true test. An old UCLA quarterback, that's me, is going to throw you a few. Intramural, that is. Here we go. 3, go. Oh! Would I survive at Stanford?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
I got 5'2", 40 speed. Is that good enough?
That's right. You got great coaches.
Corey Todd, you got Randy Fasani or yours truly? Who would you rather have thrown to you?
I think I have to go with yours truly.
You like that? The crossing pattern worked, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was fun.
He's going to Stanford, you still pick me.
Oh yeah.
He's probably going to play in the NFL, you still pick me.
Oh yeah.
You heard it first.
Despite the obvious talent, Todd has not received any Division I offers. His current quarterback would love to have him at Stanford and knows Corey will find a home in college somewhere.
Once the season comes to an end, I think lots of schools will be coming out here after they see his numbers, and they'll probably give him a chance to go out there and show what he's got.
I'm thinking about being a walk-on somewhere. I don't know, have any ideas yet, but if I don't, then maybe just start at a JC for 2 years and then transfer to a 4-year.
Hey coaches, you listening? He's got the work ethic, the hands, and 4.5 speed, and does nothing but seem to catch just about every ball thrown his way. It's not a bad resume, Corey.
1, 2, 3. Hey!
Nice job. All right, thanks, John, for that story.
Wait, don't we have the top 10 or something like that?
Yeah, we do, but hold on. Wait. Okay, we're going to go to break. We'll take a look at the top 10 USA Today football rankings. And don't forget to look, as always, in Tuesday's edition of USA Today for their top 25 rankings. You look at that, don't you?
Every week.
Yes. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Zach, what is that right there?
This is a bush made into Mickey Mouse because here at Disney we take pride in the mouse because he owns us.
Really, he owns us too, but I think he needs a haircut.
Bad.
Okay.
Janitor, no.
Hold on, now you are a good student.
Yeah, I'm a very good student. I carry about a 3.9.
Okay, and where do you want to go to school?
Either Duke or University of Virginia because they're both very good soccer schools.
Virginia, my alma mater. All right, have you ever been on the honor roll?
In elementary school, actually, I was on the honor roll. At our high school, we don't have one, though.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's take a look at our honor roll.
All right.
This week's honor roll is brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
I try to play every day, all day long. I mean, if you were looking for Brandy, she was playing basketball.
And it was those long hours on the hardwood that have made Brandy McCain one of the top high school prospects in Texas as well as the country.
In the 4th grade, I played little dribblers with the boys, and I made All-Stars, and I went to All-Stars, and I saw all the boys were better than me, and that's when I decided that I wanted to play basketball and I wanted to be good. I just didn't want to be a player. I wanted to be, a good player.
Well, as you can see, the tradition here at Silsbee speaks for itself. Hanging on the walls here at Tiger Gym are plenty of district titles and area championships. But what's lacking is a state championship for the Lady Tigers, and Brandy hopes to earn one of those sometime in the next 2 years. In the meantime, Brandy will continue to work hard on her game and in the classroom where she's an honor student. And when college coaches start contacting her this summer, she's the first to admit her life will change in a hurry.
Because that's gonna be a hard decision that I gotta live with for 4 years. She done helped me out a lot. She influenced me when we was in junior high. She got me going to the gym because I only been playing basketball since I was like in the 7th grade. And when I saw her, I wanted to be like Randy, so I started playing more. Sometimes I can't believe it, what I've done, but I always believe that hard work pays off, so that's what I did.
All right, that's sleepy, his eyes are shut, happy, grumpy, smart guy. I don't know the rest. That's Dopey though, right? The small guy's Dopey.
Yeah, that's definitely Dopey on the top.
All right, we should know this.
Yeah, Disney employees and we don't know it. Oh, well, this is something I have to do every week, so you're gonna help me out with this, okay? If you're a senior in the class of 1997, which you are not, so this doesn't apply to you, SSA has $20,000, that's a lot of money.
Big money.
To give away in scholarships. And tell everyone where to send their applications.
All right, I think it's P.O. Box 986 at Bristol, Connecticut 06011.
You're good with scripts. He's really good at memorizing scripts. That's your job.
That's my job. I'm paid by the mouse, and I need to know.
We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We have moved now to the set of home improvement, and Zach, this is kind of like home away from home.
100%. I'm here about 9.5 hours a day, probably more, and I'm at regular home, but we have fun here.
You do have fun.
Yes, we do.
All right, I got a question for you. If you were a football coach, you can act, so you can imagine this.
Yeah.
Okay. What type of qualities would you look for in an offensive lineman? Think hard.
You probably would have to be big, but at the same time be somewhat quick.
Okay, how about huge?
Like huge? Like
yeah.
Like big?
Like look at this guy.
All right, let's check him out.
This is the view opposing players have of Anthony Bell. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who can look this guy in the eyes, let alone match him in weight. The Lake City Columbia junior lineman is an incredible 7 feet tall and 425 pounds. Or at least that's what Coach Danny Green thinks.
We've never had the opportunity to even carry him and get him weighed. We can't weigh him on the scales here at school. He's 400 plus. I'm sure around 425, maybe 450, and he's 7 foot tall.
With numbers like that, one of the biggest problems for this first-year player was finding a uniform that fit. He wears a snug 5XX jersey. And the pants, well, they fit, but the color doesn't quite match the rest of the team. Color coordination aside, Anthony's just glad he came out for football.
Why'd you decide to go out? I don't know. I kind of like to follow out. I always watched it on TV. Pretty nice. The fellas taught me into it.
It's more than all right for Anthony's mom. Believes her son can achieve greatness on the gridiron.
He said he want to go to college and he want to play pro ball. He want to be probably another Michael Jordan, anybody, just a hero.
With a player as big as Anthony, and I mean big, you would think college coaches would be knocking down his door trying to recruit him. Well, that isn't quite the case, yet.
First, Anthony has to break into the starting lineup. In this game against Mandarin High of Jacksonville, Florida, Anthony got considerable playing time at offensive tackle. But he admits he has to work on speed and aggressiveness. The Tigers were proud of a 55-21 victory, and Anthony was proud that he had another opportunity to play and learn. Now Anthony wants college coaches to learn that he is willing to do what it takes to make it to the big time.
Anything you'd like to say to those coaches out there that might be looking for a guy about 400 pounds, 7 feet tall?
Oh, they just come look at me. Hope I be what they like, what they want, hopefully.
If Anthony does achieve his goals, he might create a new definition for the phrase big-time football. In Lake City, Florida, I'm Mike Tank for SSA.
The SSA Hometown Hero is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola.
As we swing on this swing, Zach, that guy was a stud.
The guy was huge, you were right.
Huge.
Humongous.
Total and utter stud. Not that you're not a stud.
Well,
All right, where are we now?
Right now we're in the gazebo, actually, that Tim had built for Jill in the show.
Okay. A little romantic action out here?
You know.
Yeah, maybe later. All right, so you gotta go. Your friends are waiting. It's Friday night. You guys are gonna like ham it up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go have fun. I gotta film the show, and then we're gonna go out and have some fun. So.
All right, well, we thank you for being with us.
I thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
You're awesome. We gotta take a short break. Zachary Ty Bryan. See you later.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. You may recognize this. This is Tim's backyard, and I'm standing in the spot where Wilson, his neighbor, usually stands. And Wilson usually gives Tim some advice on life, marriage, career, anything. And we want to give Tim a piece of advice on maybe a place to send Brad to school. It's a race car driving school. Tim will like this. Stacy Pates has the story, and this is really, really good tip.
When you think of women in auto racing, the first name that comes to mind is Lynn St. James. Lynn holds over 31 national and international speed records. She has won the 24 Hours at Daytona, but her most famous moment was when she was voted Rookie of the Year at the 1992 Indy 500. Along with her accomplishments comes another sense of winning by giving back to the sport that she loves so much. In 1993, Lynn established the Lynn St. James Driver Development Program in order to give an extended education to up-and-coming drivers.
I think this is embellishing their education so much because racing is probably one of the most real-life experiences that challenges your knowledge. If you don't know, then you aren't going to be good.
We focused on 5 high school student drivers that had that real-life experience and were given the opportunity to test their skills. And those skills are tested, and on more than just driving. Mental stability, understanding nutrition, and knowing how to deal with the media are what really draw individuals to Lynn's program.
I did want to help my mental skills more, and also with the media, learning how to promote myself and getting sponsors and promoting the sponsors that I already have.
I expect to take the marketing skills and the driving skills mentally and physically, everything else that I can get out of it as much as I can to, go on with this career.
These young ladies found there's more to driving than just negotiating an apex.
You know, one of the unique elements about the Lynn St. James Driving Development Program is the fitness part. A lot of people don't associate fitness with race car drivers, but let me tell you, endurance is a very important thing just to be behind the wheel of a race car.
Good job. Exhale. Exhale.
All the girls are experienced in some form of racing, varying from karts to the drag strip. But now it's time to shift gears and try something just a little different.
Never driven anything faster than a go-kart.
Ready to go. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Before heading onto the track, the students are briefed on driving an unfamiliar shift, when to brake, and how to correct the car if it should spin.
If you spin, both feet in. As we often do on SSA, we visit student athletes in the classroom. Well, the Lynn St. James Driving Program gives us an opportunity to be in a class of a different kind. And today is probably the best lesson of them all. We got to get in the race car, and these girls started without me. I gotta find my helmet and get out there. It's time to go racing.
You just get out there and you're so into what you're doing. It's just great. I can't explain how great it is. I tried basketball, and I tried pep squad, and I tried soccer, and they just weren't me. And it's not just guys that can do it, because I want to be one of the girls who can do it, just as well as the guys.
And one of the girls took the ride of her life.
As I was going in, I'm like, uh-oh, this is too late. So I was like, I hit the gas or the brake harder. So the front tire kind of like skimmed the wall. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start to spin. So I put both feet in, and the back end skid around, and it slammed into the wall.
Racing, like in life, has its ups and downs. Sometimes you fail, but learning from your mistakes is what makes you better as a person, or in this case, a driver.
The wonders of television, everybody. What looks like your normal average backyard here, I'm sorry to say, it's all fake. This tree, this plant right here, it's not real. But I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Walt Disney set of Home Improvement. Our next show is Monday, December 30th at 3:30 Eastern Time, and it will be an SSA football special, taking a look at some of the best players and teams in the country. I'm Melissa Stark, and have a happy holiday.